Good afternoon, everyone. Wherever you are taking the broadcast, welcome to the National Stadium at Providence on the east bank of Demerara in Guyana. Today is day number 3 in this encounter between the Guyana Jaguars and Trinidad and Tobago Red Force. The Jaguars have been set a target of 162. They closed last night on 69 for the loss of 2 with Leon Johnson, the skipper, on 37 and Tejnarain Chandapal on 22. Still 93 runs away from a possible victory for the Jaguars. So in my opinion, it's a huge advantage to the Jaguars, but this is a game of cricket. You never know what can happen in the space of an over or 2. So we're about to witness the first delivery, and it's going to be Tejnarain Chandapal to take it from Anderson Phillip. As I say, good afternoon once again to the former West Indies off-spinner, Clyde Butts. Hello to you, Clyde.
Good afternoon to you, Inderjeet, and I'm sure you had a nice, pleasant drive down the East Coast to get here this afternoon.
A wonderful, and I actually had in my company one of my oldest buddy and one of your former teacher, Tikaram Dan Paul. He's heading to Canal. I just dropped him off at the bridge, and he asked me to say hello to you.
Oh, that's nice of him. I haven't seen him in years. I'm sure he's enjoying his holidays at home, and knowing Inderjeet, he would have made sure he enjoyed his holidays in Maikoni.
Yes, certainly. So here's the first ball on day number 3. The Jaguars looking for a fourth or 93. Anderson Phillips bowls to Chandapal. Good delivery to start with. One that was well pitched up, and he comes forward, defends, plays it down towards short cover.
Yes, that was a nice delivery to start. First up, full just on the middle stump. Chandapal was equal to the task, pushing it out on the offside, and I'm sure he's thinking that I want to be here at the end of this innings.
Yes, and Clyde, with just 93 runs more to get 8 wickets standing. The skipper is doing well on 37. Chandapal is on 22. It's a huge advantage for the Jaguars.
Oh, it is. I thought that both Johnson and Chandapal batted pretty well yesterday evening to weather that sort of little storm that they had at the end of the day's play, and certainly, you know, one will hope that they come back in the same positive mind this morning, this afternoon here, sorry, and to try and wrap things up as early as possible.
Yeah, that was a delivery outside the line of the off stump and going further away too. No pressure on Tejnarain Chandapal. Yesterday, Hemraj was bowled by Philip. He didn't score. It was 3 for the loss of 1. Vishal Singh caught by Pieroff Smith for 5. 12 for the loss of 2. There was a little bit of butterflies in the stomach then, but this partnership has really grown in confidence. Anderson Phillip comes in, bowls to Chandapal outside the line of the off stump, and once again he allows the ball to go by into the gloves of the keeper, and there is no run. So virtually, if the Jaguars go on to win this, they will definitely win the tournament.
I would have thought so, because they're so far ahead in terms of points, and I think that was the way how they started the season. I think that's what have made them such a strong team this year, and could win the game with still teams having a match to go.
So here is Philip once again, right arm, medium fast, and he's bowling over the wicket, passes the umpire, comes up, bowls to Chandapal. That's a good delivery. He was genuinely beaten outside the line of the off stump. He had the off stump covered, and the ball just moved away and went into the gloves of Dinesh Ramdin, and it went pretty low as well as Phillips continue from the northern end of the ground. He has had a good match, has a lovely action, something that you know, all of us are happy about, and certainly shows a lot of promise as a fast bowler.
Yes, he has. He's got a nice looking run up, and he gets to that crease in nice, good form. He has a nice high arm action as well.
Comes in and bowls to Chandapal. He's covering up, plays it away down towards wide mid-off, and once again he cannot score. So very patient start here by Tejnarain Chandapal, and this is good to see. No need to rush the bowling. The bowling has been good. It's a pitch where the ball is not really coming on truly, that you can play through the line. You have to be patient and you have to wait. Phillips, he goes back to the top of his mark. There are 2 slips and a gully. We have backward point way out on the boundary. There's an extra cover, wide mid-off. We also have wide mid-on. There's a forward square and a long leg. Phillips breaks into his run once again, comes in, bowls to Chandapal, and he's beaten outside the line of the off stump. And Chandapal watched the delivery, swerved away from him, and certainly a very good delivery to bring the first over on day number 3 to an end. The Jaguars, they're 6-9 for the loss of 2. Good start, a maiden.
Well, that was an excellent over from Philip bowling just on or about the off stump, making the batsman play with the ball going across the left-hander. Certainly cost Chandrapal some trouble. Chandrapal would be thinking, well, that was a wonderful over, I'm sure. You know, I'm not going to get many more of those overs in this innings, because he would be saying he's very lucky to still be out there, because he was beaten about 3 times outside that off stump with very good deliveries, well bowled by Philip.
Absolutely. Brilliant over to start with, and it's going to be Brian Charles, the right arm off spinner. He's going to pick the bowling up. So far, Imran Khan, 1 over for 4 runs. Odin Smith, 4 overs for 13. Daniel Sinclair, 5 overs, 1 for 25. Brian Charles had 4 overs for 13 runs. And Anderson Phillips, 6 overs, 1 for 15. So they're going to start from the southern end with Brian Charles. He's going to have his first bowl of the day. And Ramdin just ensuring that all the fielders in the right position, just waving the hand a little. Nobody actually, well, he's asking the deep backward square to come down towards a long leg. So, Leon Johnson in strike. Here is Charles, bowls to Johnson. This is nicely tossed up, and he drives down towards short extra cover. There is no run. Clyde, they're deciding to go with Brian Charles, the off spinner from the southern end.
No real surprise, really, because there's 2 left-handers that's out there. We're into the 3rd day, but
a good delivery outside the line of the off stump, and Johnson watches the ball goes by.
I
to the
may
guts of
have
Ramdin.
preferred to see Sinclair starting, because I think Sinclair gets the ball to leave the left-handers as well, and he bowls in very good areas.
Yeah, that would have been my preference as well. This is nicely tossed up, and Leon Johnson is coming onto the front foot and drops it with soft hands down towards short extra cover. Once again, there is no run. Well, Ramdin has shown some trust in the right arm off spinner Brian Charles, but Daniel Sinclair was very, very impressive. Here is Charles. He comes in, bowls to Johnson. Back he goes, and he's flashing at this one. It goes down towards the fine third man. It's running away towards the boundary. The fielder gives off the chase, and Leon Johnson gets the first boundary on day number 3. He will now move on to 41, and that will take the score to 73 for the loss of 2.
Yeah, that was a good-looking shot from Leon Johnson. It was short. It was turning further away from him. He went onto the back foot and placed it nicely behind point, and it went all the way down to the boundary for 4. Good looking shot.
Yes, and no doubt. Saving perhaps his best for the last innings of this year's tournament. Outside the line of the leg stump, looking to play a little tickle. Didn't make any contact. And Odin Smith, who is feeling at first, he skips around, he feels, and there is no run. So Brian Charles just throwing a little there in his line. There is a forward short leg, a solitary slip. He comes around the wicket, bowls to Johnson outside the line of the off stump, and some good spin and bounce for him, but not too close to trouble the left-hander. The over is completed. Johnson has moved to 41. Tangerine Chandrapal on 22. The Jaguars, they're 73 for the loss of 2.
Well, a fairly decent over from Brian Charles in that over. Just on about the off stump. Got the ball to turn a little, but not really causing the batsman any sort of trouble. And I'm sure Dinesh Ramdin would probably still have in the back of his mind maybe a Sinclair may be the person. But you never know. One would just have to wait and see. I think with 2 left-handers out there, you obviously fancies his off-spinner bowling to them and probably able to nick off one of them as early as possible to put some pressure on the Jaguars.
Yes, so Philip is going to continue with 2 slips and a gully, and he'll be bowling to the left-handed Tangerine Chandrapal. He begins his approach. Philip passes the umpire, comes in, and that's a delivery down the leg side, and he's turning it off the hips down towards the backward square, and he gets a single. 1 more to the score. It's now on to 74 for the loss of 2. So 2 slips, a gully. There's a backward point way out on the boundary, extra cover. There's a wide mid-off. There's also mid-on. We have a forward square and a deep backward square. Brilliant weather for cricket, and it has been like this since the start of day number 1. We had some poor batting in the first innings by both teams. 1 bowled out for 120 red force. The Jaguars didn't do too much better, 165, but that 45 runs that they induced in first innings was very, very vital. Pitched up outside the line of the off stump and moving further away too. and it was heading towards the slip cordon. There is no run. The score is kept on 74 for the loss of 2 in the first innings. Webster made 30. Imran Khan top scored with 37. Odin Smith made 19. Romario Shepherd picking up 5 for 24. Rutherford 2 for 31. Reefer 1 for 20. Barnwell 1 for 26. And Primal 1 for 13. The Jaguars went in and their top score was a fine knock by Bramble, who made 62. And Barnwell contributing 20 as well. Here is Anderson Phillip. He comes in and bowls to Johnson. He comes forward, open the face, gets it down towards backward point, and he gets a single. One more to Johnson. He's on to 42, 75 for the loss of 2. Daniel Sinclair and Odin Smith in that first innings picked up 3 wickets apiece, and Phillips picking up 2. The bowlers have done well in this game.
Definitely so. I think when you look at the scoreboard and you see the scores, there's only been 150 in the game so far, and that was by Bramble. So certainly the bowlers have dominated this game.
Yes, certainly they have. Phillips begins his approach once again. He comes in, bowls to Chandapal, and he's flirting there with danger. In fact, Chandapal was a short lifting delivery, Clyde. Just moved away from the batsman, genuinely beaten.
Yes, he was. I think that ball moved up appreciably to the pitch just on or about off stump, and Dinesh Ramdeen had to dive across to his left to actually take that. So I think that tells you how much that delivery actually moved away from the left-handed batsman, and he was actually flirting, probably looking to play it down to a backward point position. Lucky not to have gotten an edge.
Yes, very lucky. Now he taps away and lifts the bat, concentrates as Philip comes in, bowls to him. This delivery is lined with the middle stump, and he comes quietly forward, plays it down towards mid-on. Imran Khan is in the way. He collects. There is no run.
I think Philip in that delivery tried to bowl much straighter, and it's obvious when he bowls that straight, it doesn't do as much. He adjusted the length, and it was easier for young Chandrapal to just work it onto the onside.
And good thinking by the bowler as well. And this is what you want to see. Sometimes it's not all about pure pace. It has to be psychology as well. You do a few things with the ball and trying to work out the weak areas of the batsman. As we watch Philip from the commentary box end, that's the northern end of the ground, comes in, bowls to Chandapal, aligned with the middle stump. And this time he turns it away down towards short backward square, gets off strike and gets a single, and this is good to see. He now moves on to 23, and that will take the score on to 76 for the loss of 2. Leon Johnson is kept on 42. Good time to remind you, this is a Cricket 360 international production on behalf of Cricket West Indies.
Yes, and certainly it's been some good cricket as well, when especially from the bowling department. It's been some bad batting, but some good cricket in terms of the bowling. The batting, I don't think, has been that good. And even sometimes the fielding that wasn't that good. But in terms of the bowling has been good. It has been steady. It's not a pitch where they got a lot of movement. I think that all the bowlers have bowled in good areas and caused the batsmen some trouble.
Yes, and Clyde, you mentioned about the fielding as well, some hiccups in the field. And fielding is such a vital component out in the middle if you're looking for victory. Absolutely essential. And this is an area that needs to be improved, both at the regional level and at the test level, international level as well, by the West Indies. This is played away, back past the bowler by Chandapal, down towards the long on boundary for 4. That was a fine shot. He gets a boundary, moves on now to 27, and has brought the Jaguars onto 80 for the loss of 2.
I think Brian Charles is easing that pressure off the batsman. Second over, he's bowling, and this is his second boundary as well. So the batsman obviously thinking that if he's going to give them bad balls, they're going to put them away. Philip is bowling well. He's causing, especially Chandrapal, a lot of trouble, and he would be happy with that shot.
Here is Charles. He comes in, bowls to Chandapal, a short delivery, and he bangs it away down towards cover, who took some pace off it. And the extra cover went away towards his left, cleans up, there is no run. And I think that Dinesh Ramdeen might very well get it a little bit wrong this afternoon. Daniel Sinclair bowled pretty well. Even Odin Smith maybe could have started from that end with one of them. This is a delivery tossed up. Chandapal comes forward, plays it down towards short cover. There is no run. And you don't have a ton of runs on the board. batting team is doing well, and you're starting the day with them looking for 93 with 8 wickets standing. Outside the line of the off stump, Chanderpaul onto the back foot, gets it away, down towards short cover. Once again, there is no run.
Yeah, again, that's better bowling. He's bowling much tighter to the off stump. He's got the length right to young Chanderpaul, who's trying to force on the offside.
And this time he comes forward, drops it away, down towards the short mid-wicket. There is no run. So, the right arm off spinner, wheeling away from the southern of the ground. He's looking for his first wicket in this match. Has been entrusted with the ball in his hand by his skipper. This is tossed up. Off the back foot goes Tejnarain Chanderpaul and punched it down towards short extra cover. There is no run. The over has been completed. Chanderpaul moves on to 27. 42 is Leon Johnson. It's 80 for the loss of 2.
Yeah, not a fairly good over from Brian Shaw. It's not really causing the batsman any sort of trouble. First delivery was full, was punched away, back up the ground for 4, and then the other delivery is just short of a length, having young Chanderpaul going on the back foot, looking to punch through the offside. Not really causing the batsman any sort of trouble.
Yeah, and Clyde, in your playing days, did you put a premium, spent a lot of hours in your fielding?
Oh, I think most players do, because when you think about cricket, I mean, I may not have been one of the better fielders around, but when you think of cricket, you spend more time in the field than batting or bowling. So you've got to work on your fielding.
Yes, a very vital area. Here is Philip. He comes up and bowls to Leon Johnson. He comes forward, strokes it down towards mid-off, and there is no run. Some fielders will turn half chances and ensure that they take a catch from it. And on the other hand, some fielders will turn a catch and just drop it down.
Well, those things do happen. You do drop catches, and I think the best of fielders have dropped catches in times, but they will take most, and they will take some good ones as well, some difficult ones. So it's not only the fielding, it's saving runs, not only catching, saving runs in the field. That helps a lot and would inspire your bowler to work harder.
Yeah, this is a good delivery, right on target. Leon Johnson got in behind and he defended, back up the track. There is no run. And some fielders will tell you, Clyde, that they will actually look at the batsman, concentrate on him, and tells what kind of shot he's going to play. And because of that, they have enough time to move in the direction of the shot. So it's all about concentrating and knowing what the batsman is going to do.
Well, it's concentration, and sometimes anticipation comes into play. And that would help you a lot.
Here is Philip once again, bends the back and begins to move in. He comes up and bowls to Johnson outside the line of the off stump and going through to Ramdin. Once again, there is no run. We have seen so many brilliant fielders across the world. You played with Roger Harper. He was your spin twin buddy out in the middle. He was such a terrific fielder.
Well, the jury is still out, but I certainly think he is the best all-round fielder that I have seen.
Brilliant. Do you remember when, I think it was Graham Gooch in England, played the ball back to him and he was run out?
You've seen some wonderful fielding from Roger Harper. I've seen him taking some catches as well, fielding at slip or at gully or wherever he feels, silly point.
And this is a delivery that is pitched up there, and Johnson came forward. It flew off the tick on the edge of the bat, down towards backward point. Odin Smith at gully moves across. He feels, well, that was a well-pitched up delivery. Was striving for the Yorker. Yeah,
that was well bowled as well, because obviously Leon Johnson is looking to cover that swing away from the batsman. I think that one swung back a little at him as well. It was pitched right in the block well, and he did well to keep it out.
Yes, certainly he did. Remember John T. Rhodes at backward point?
Well, he's probably the best point fielder ever.
Yeah, he was a terrific guy in that position. Here is Anderson Phillips, breaks into a nice rhythmic approach. He passes the umpire, bowls to Johnson, and he's looking to pull one down the leg side. Didn't make contact. It goes away to Ramdin. Once again, there is no run. Clayton Lambert was a bully at forward short leg. He was brave, and he tantalized a lot too.
I think sometimes people feel that Clayton Lambert was just a forward short leg fielder. He wasn't. He fielded in any position that he put in. He was good in the outfield. He was good in the ring. But maybe not as good as a fielder in the outfield, because we didn't see a lot of him in that department. But good in the slips and good in the ring.
Yes, he was a wonderful player at the regional level, Clayton Lambert. Here is Philip. He comes in, bowls to Johnson, and Johnson opens the face. He gets it out towards cover, and he's going to pick up a single. With that single, Johnson moves on to 43, and the score will go on to 81 for the loss of 2. The over is completed. Johnson 43, and his partner Tejnarain Chandapal is on 27.
Yeah, I think Brian Charles is going to continue here as well. So we'll just have to wait and see. I mean, it's Guyana is inching closer to the target. I don't think enough pressure has been put by Brian Charles on the batsman to give the Trinidad and Tobago Red Force a chance, a slim chance, if there is a chance, to actually put some pressure on the Jaguars or have a chance of winning this game.
Yeah, 12 runs have been scored so far this morning, and they have done it very easy. Nothing has actually troubled them. Here is Charles. He comes in, bowls to Johnson. Back he goes, and he cuts it away. He beats the diving backward point, and the ball is going to go into the boundary for 4. Johnson moves on to 47, 85 for the loss of 2.
That was a good shot from Leon Johnson. It was a short ball. It was just turning slightly away from him. He didn't try and hit it too hard. He waited and then hit it nicely just behind point. The man at point was diving away to his right. Couldn't get to it, and it went for 4 runs.
Yes, and that was too short, giving the batsman the opportunity to make some room. Here is Charles. He comes in, bowls to Johnson. This is nicely tossed up now, and he turns it away down towards forward short leg. There is no run. If you have just joined the broadcast, let me remind you that the Jaguars started the day on 69 for the loss of 2, looking for 93 for victory. The target is 162. Back he goes. Johnson opens the face, gets it out towards gully. There is no run. And Leon Johnson was on 37. Tejnarain Chandapal on 22. They have so far locked together. They haven't lost a wicket, and they've taken the score to 85. This is outside the line of the off stump. Cut away. This is bad bowling, great batting, beating the backward point again. Johnson gets another boundary, and that's his half century. He has moved on to 51. Well played, skipper.
Yeah, that was another bad delivery, short, turning forward away. It bounced high as well, and Leon Johnson did well to get on top of it and to hit it down behind point on the offside, and he got 4 runs. Again, that's bad bowling. That's not the type of bowling that I'm sure Dennis Ramsden would have been looking for this afternoon.
Yes, certainly. I think it is not a decision that Ramsden is going to enjoy, to be bowling Brian Charles. And here is Johnson just coming out and with a little bit of a flare, strokes it gently down towards short extra cover. Once again, there is no run, and the skipper is growing in real confidence. This has been a top-class half-century in some difficult circumstances. He's coming forward and nicely worked away down towards short backward square, and Johnson gets another run. He moves on to 52, and will take the score now on to 90 for the loss of 2. The over has been completed. More from you, Clyde, and then it's going to be Pastor Matthew Kisoon.
Well, that was another very ordinary over from young Brian Charles, bowling short and wide, giving Leon Johnson a chance to cut him away behind point on the offside twice, and he got boundaries for those shots. So Dennis Ramsden must be thinking now that he has to try and bring Smith or what I thought Sinclair should have opened the bowling this morning, but he must be thinking now he has to take Brian Charles out of the attack. And even last evening when he brought him on, he didn't cause the batsman any sort of pressure. So I'm surprised that he actually started with him this morning.
Hello, Clyde. Good afternoon to you.
Good afternoon
I'm in
to
my
you, Matthew.
maroon West Indian colors. I'll tell you why in a moment. Philip bowling over the wicket to Johnson. Johnson is driving. That's a nice shot. Down through the cover area. They've crossed a 1, and they didn't take a second. Good sharp fielding out there on the boundary by that field out there. Looks like, is it Pierre? And the batsmen get 191 now for the loss of 2. Johnson's gone up to 53. His 31st 50 in first class cricket. And really, you need your captain to be there if you're going to win this title, Clyde. And it's so good to see that he's played Brian Charles well. I'm a bit puzzled why Brian Charles started, because Johnson's a good player of spin, and he hit him for 2 lovely boundaries behind point. And the second one bringing up his 31st 50. Chandrapal comes in to strike. Philip comes up, bowls to Chandrapal on the leg stump. He's flicking it away down towards mid-on where Imran Khan is out there. And there is no run. I'm in my maroon colors because of that game yesterday. The West Indies lost badly. I'm grieving, Clyde Butts. 45 all out. I'm actually grieving.
Well, I thought you would have said it the other way. You've come out with your maroon color today so that people would know that you're supporting West Indies for tomorrow's game, for them to go out and have a nice, positive game, and where they will actually come out as victors.
Well, I like the way you look at that. It's so nice to give your team support in spite of that humiliating defeat yesterday, but that's come and gone now. Here is Philip bowling to Chandrapal on the middle stump. He's forward defensive, plays back to the bowler, and there is no run. An interesting thing I want to share with you, Clyde, with Guyana now going on, as soon as they win this match, they get 154.2. They will end their season. If the Leewards win their game against the Windwards, which is ongoing right now, I think they need 166 to win. The last score I got from John was 17 for 2. They would move up to 131.4 with still a game to play. So they will need 23 points to beat Guyana in their last match. And I understand you can only get a maximum of 24. Here in any game, if in terms of full points, that's outside the off stump taken by Ramden no run.
And I think that's a difficult task, and they will be playing Barbados in Barbados as well. That would be in Antigua. I think that would be a difficult task for them to do, actually score, get 24 points in a game. I don't think they have scored enough runs in the tournament to say, well, they will get maximum batting points. They haven't done that. So I think the Guyanese, once they win this game, can start their celebration. I know people might say I'm a bit on the premature side, but I think they can start their celebration.
And I agree with you. It's brilliant sunshine at Providence. Few spectators in hand to see this victory. Here is a ball that's on the off stump. He's covering up Chandrapal, pushed down towards mid-off, where Jason Mohammed is, and there is no run. But I agree with you. They can start to celebrate. They're 9 plus 62. I'll make it 71 away from a 7th victory this year. Knowing Clyde, let's take note, they've lost 3 matches. Now, if you look ahead to the next season, you wonder, I think teams...
But that's a long way away.
Well,
yes, teams may be catching up, but it's still some time. You've got time to come back, go back and regroup, probably look at your little flaws and things and see how you can correct them.
Philip comes up, bowls to Chandrapal. He is driving into the cover area across his stumps. And nicely fielded there, 91 for the loss of 2. The over comes to an end.
No, you've got your little flaws, you've got your little weak areas. I'm sure they will want to go back now and work on those weak areas. See if there are players that are pressing the guys that needs a sort of pressing in terms of the team, because I think at the top we haven't done as well as we're capable of in terms of the batting department. The bowling department, I think it's in terms of the seamers, I thought they've bowled well. They've kept the pressure on all teams that they've played against. I think the spinners, Pamal maybe hasn't bowled as well this year because he didn't need to do as much work as he has done in previous years. And Moti was a little bit of a disappointment, I thought, and I think that may be an area that they will be looking at as well in terms of how Moti goes. Bishu is still going to come back, and then you've got the young man Lewis, who has played 2 games. They didn't really have a lot of opportunities, so you just have to wait and see.
Here is Charles Bowles outside the off stump. First delivery patted up outside the off stump by Johnson. He's looked good to the spinners always. He's 53-27 to Tate Chandrapal, and the batsman out, Hemraj. He was bowled by Philip for a duck. That's last evening. It was 3 for 1, and then Singh was caught at backward point of the ball of Sinclair for 5, 12 for 2. Forward he comes, pushed into the onside, no run. But I still think it's a little bit puzzling that Brian Charles opened the bowling on day 3 here, outside the off stump, taken by Ramden, and there is no run. You've got players out there who can play the spinner well. And I thought if Sinclair and Philip would have done a good job, and Odin Smith as well, you would have wanted to come out guns a-blazing in terms of the bowling department. That's cut away down towards the field at backward point. He fields well, coming across his right. The score is kept on 91 for the loss of 2.
Yeah, again, just bowling short of a length. making the giving the batsman ample time to go on the back foot and to use his arms to try and cut behind point.
Charles misses his run and will walk back to his mark. So the Jaguars closed last evening on 69 for the loss of 2. 20 overs. Bull Johnson was unbeaten on 37, Chandra Paul 22. And today they've looked very positive. Forward he comes. And there is no run. The over comes to an end, 91 for the loss of 2. Clyde, let's go quickly to the regional 50 over ladies cricket coming up. Matches to be played at Providence, GCC, Everest, and Enmore. Now you're talking the first set of matches, 3 matches per day. On Sunday 17th, you will have the stadium matches at the stadium, Everest, and GCC, 3 matches there. I'll give you the teams who will be playing. That's Sunday 17th. Then Tuesday the 19th, it will be the stadium, GCC, and Everest. That's Thursday 21st, Enmore, Everest, GCC. Saturday the 23rd will be Enmore, the stadium, and Everest. And then the final game, final set of matches, I'll tell you about that in a moment. Here is Philip Bowles to Chandra Paul. That's wide up the off stump. That's driven. Nice shot. Down through cover. Runs here for the little left-hander. One. They'll come back for a second as the fielder covered ground from backward point is left into the cover area. 2 good-looking runs to Chandra Paul. Ball a bit wide of the off stump and over full length, and he reached for it and played it away through cover. He's gone to 29. Now it's 93 for the loss of 2, Clyde.
Yeah, that was a half volley, a wrong half volley actually, and he just didn't try to hit it too hard, just more or less pushed it just in front of square on the offside, and he got 2 runs for it. Right,
and then on the 25th of March, matches will be played at Enmore, the stadium, and GCC. Matches starting at 9:30 a.m. in the morning. Here is a ball that's on the leg stump that's turned away to mid-wicket, and there is no run. So those matches, Clyde, will start at 9:30 a.m. And then after that tournament comes the regional ladies T20 tournament. All those matches will be played at Providence, 3 matches per day, and matches will be played on the 28th, 29th, and 31st of March, and then the 1st and 3rd of April. So a lot of ladies cricket coming up, Clyde. Yesterday was Women's World International Day, and now we see a lot more cricket to be played in Guyana via the regional tournament, this time featuring the ladies. Here is Philip. Comes in now to bowl to Chandra Paul, and Chandra Paul lets it go. He tucks the bat inside the line, outside the off stump, taken by the keeper. The score is kept on 93 for 2. A lot of cricket coming up.
Yeah, I think it's good to have the women's tournament in Guyana. Guyana has the capacity. They have the grounds, and it would be nice to actually host the ladies tournament. I think we hosted it a few years ago as well. And I remember Trinidad and Tobago winning one of the finals at the stadium here. So it will be good. It will be good, and one hopes to see some good cricket.
And what about crowds coming out as well, especially ladies to support their fellow women playing cricket? That's Chandra Paul is across his stumps, plays it into the offside, no run.
Well, again, I think a lot would depend on the Guyana Cricket Board and, of course, the West Indies Cricket Board in terms of advertising, making sure that people understand that there will be a regional tournament in Guyana. The venues are there, and so people can actually follow those games. I think at times that has been lacking, and sometimes cricket is being played and nobody seems to know where it is played and so on. I think once those things are done, I think you will have a few people coming out to watch the cricket.
Here is Philip, begins to move away from the northern end of the ground, the commentary box end, the media center end, comes up, bowls to Chandra Paul on the middle stump. He's across his stumps and steers it out towards cover, and there is no run. On the 17th, Clyde, Trinidad and Tobago play Guyana, the Leewards play Barbados, and Jamaica play the Windwards. As I said, that's Sunday 17th, and matches at the stadium, Everest, and GCC, that first day of the regional 50 over tournament. So I've given that to listeners, the 3 matches that will be played on that day. And then on Tuesday the 19th of March, Barbados versus the Windward Islands, Trinidad and Tobago versus the Leewards, and Jamaica versus Guyana. The Jamaica-Guyana game will be at Everest. Here is a ball that's pitched up on the middle stump, and that's played down towards Imran Khan at mid-on, and there is no run. And then on On Thursday the 21st, as the over comes to an end, 93 for the loss of 2. On Thursday the 21st, Guyana will play the Leewards. That will be at Enmore. Trinidad and Tobago will play the Windwards, and Barbados will play Jamaica. John Ramsing is with me, the man who sent all the information to us yesterday, the man who's always well informed. John, good afternoon to you. 93 for the loss of 2. And the Guyana Jaguars now need 69 to win this game.
Good afternoon, Matthew and listeners, wherever you're picking up this broadcast. Certainly a pleasure to be watching brilliant cricket. Nice weather as well.
So Brian Charles bowling round the wicket to Johnson. Johnson is nudging it away, chopping it away down to the third man area. The fielder comes around from point to tidy up. He gets a single. He moves to 54. It's 94 for the loss of 2. John, I'll continue on those matches. And of course, Saturday the 23rd of March, Windwards versus the Leewards, Guyana versus Barbados. And the Guyana-Barbados game will be at the stadium here. And then you have Jamaica versus Trinidad and Tobago. So those are a lot of matches coming up in the regional 50 over tournament. The ladies, here is Chandra Paul getting his inside his stumps and playing it into the onside, no run. And then on Monday, the 25th, Barbados versus Trinidad and Tobago, Leewards versus Jamaica, and the Windwards versus Guyana. And that match will be at GCC ground board. I might have been going a bit too fast for those listening, but we will repeat it, of course. Forward comes Chandra Paul, plays back to the bowl, and there is no run. A lot of cricket, John.
A lot of cricket, but it's good to see that the women's tournament is returning to Guyana. In 2016, when they were last here, it was lots of rain. I think there was just one game in the 50 over segment that was completed.
Charles bowls are swept around down towards the fine leg area. The fielder giving chase as Carrie Peer down from the backward square leg boundary area. The batsmen come back. Well, they take a single actually, so one more to Tage Chandra Paul. He now moves into the 30s. He's gone up to 30, 95 for the loss of 2. Johnson comes back into strike.
Yes, like I was saying, just one game was totally completed. The others were abbreviated and washed out totally, and then the T20 segment of the tournament was played at Providence. So it's good to welcome back the women's regional cricket.
Yes, certainly. Here is Johnson. Nice use of the risk, turning it into the onside. And that's picked up by Joshua De Silva, forward short leg, no run.
And the timing, I must say, is very good because just months ago we had a women's World T20 right here in the Caribbean, and Guyana hosted matches, and that has created some excitement.
Charles bowls on the middle stump. Johnson's on driving down to mid-wicket. There's a field out there. He can score. He's kept on 54. 30 to Chandra Paul. And Guyana resuming overnight, 69 for the loss of 2. They progressed to 95 for 2.
Yeah, so it's a good sign really for cricket, regional cricket, and our women folk. And as I said this last evening, I'm hoping that after this tournament, the women's tournament, that will be more than just one female cricket club in Guyana. The Rosal Town Youth and Sports Club, they have a very good women's team. We're hoping that other people, other teams, will grow as a result of this women's tournament because they want to see the value of women in sport, women's cricket. And like I said last night as well, women's cricket is the fastest growing sport in the world, Matthew. Yes.
Wow, interesting. And I'll give you the dates for the regional T20 ladies tournament in a moment. First match will be played on Thursday, 28th of March. First set of matches. Here is a ball that's outside the off stump, taken by the keeper, no run. On the 28th, all matches to be played at Providence. The Windward Islands will play the Leewards first. Guyana will play Barbados second. Let me go that. No, Jamaica will play Trinidad first. Windwards will play the Leewards, and Guyana will play Barbados. That's on Thursday, 28th. All 3 matches at the stadium because all matches will be played here. I think they'll have like an hour break in between those matches, John, if I'm correct. First match will start at 9, is it? 9 a.m. So we'll be here. It will be long days for us. Here as Philip comes up, bowls to Chandra Paul. He's across his stumps and then plays it out towards cover. And there is no run. Friday 29th, Trinidad and Tobago versus Windwards, Guyana versus Leewards, Barbados versus Jamaica. And then Sunday 31st, Jamaica versus Guyana, Barbados versus Windwards, and the Leewards versus Trinidad. And then we get into the month of April. John Ramsing, Tuesday, 2nd of April. Barbados take on Trinidad, Leewards versus Jamaica, and Windwards versus Guyana. And then the final set of matches Wednesday, the 3rd of April, Leewards versus Barbados, Trinidad versus Guyana, and Jamaica versus the Windward Islands. So I've attempted to give you a little bit of the schedule of women's cricket coming up outside the off-stump, taken by the keeper, no chance of a run.
Yes. So it's a good sign for women's cricket generally. It was good to see that the Guyana Jaguars as well. They're in total control of this match right now. A good partnership between Leon Johnson, the captain, and his opening batsman. 83 runs to the value so far. By far the best partnership of the entire match. And the pitch certainly helping in that regard as well. Leon Johnson playing a wonderful knock, a captain's knock. And what a better time to ask for a captain's knock when you're on the verge of taking your team not only to victory in this match, but to championship glory.
Here as Philip comes up, bowls to Chandra Paul. He's across his stumps and gets it out into the offside, picked up at cover. You'll tell me how many boundaries has Johnson scored in his innings so far. Is it 10 or 11? Might be
Johnson, so far 11.
11 boundaries. So he's picked up 3 boundaries today because overnight he had 8 fours in that knock of 37. Chandra Paul, 3 fours in his unbeaten 22 overnight. So he's played very positive indeed. John, a quick question for you. Do you have to pay for these matches, the regional ladies cricket, or is free?
Me personally, no, I don't have to pay. But I'd rather suspect other patrons will be free as well.
Wow, very nice.
I'd rather
indeed.
suspect so.
Very nice indeed. There is Philip comes up, bowls to Chandra Paul. That's a short ball on the leg stump. He turns it away towards square leg, and there is no run, 95 for 2. But that's good news for the Guyana contingency here.
If it is so, yeah. If it is free indeed, yeah.
Oh, they have to pay. So Inderjeet is telling us from behind. He's echoing the statement. Oh, Matthew has to pay. I think I'm like John. I don't think I have to pay. I don't think you'll have to pay as well. But you're talking 3 matches per day in the T20 tournament. That's a nice combination, John.
The World T20s had 3 matches per day one time,
That's
and
right.
at a minimal cost of $500 as well.
Wow, would
back
you
then.
believe that? Philip comes up, bowls to Chandra Paul, wide of the off stump. He's driving down to mid-off into the ground, picked up by Mohammed, and there is no run. But I think that's a good gesture on the part of Cricket West Indies, and of course in conjunction with the Guyana Cricket Board to host these 2 tournaments here. And I think we're all looking forward to these matches. First of all, the 50-over matches, and then the T20s.
I think overall, I think it's going to be wonderful, not only for the spectators, but for the cricketers as well. Playing in Guyana is usually something a lot of cricketers would speak of. And being exposed to 3 grounds, 4 grounds in fact, Providence and the others, I think that's also going to help their cricket as well, because you're exposed to different conditions. Each ground tends to possess a different type of pitch, outfield. But I would like to see a match at least go to Berbice, and we were speaking about this on the opening day when we were talking about this tournament upcoming.
Albion?
Sorry?
Albion Brown?
Probably, most likely Albion, because 8 of the women selected for the Guyana squad are from Berbice.
Tell you what, that sounds very interesting indeed. As Charles bowls to Johnson, Johnson is pushing it out into the offside, looking for a single that really wasn't on. He's kept on 54-95 for the loss of 2. But I quite agree with you on that point, John. Maybe if cricket can go back to Berbice, well, you'll have what? GCC, Everest. Those are first-class venues before Providence has been the lone venue used now. And that's outside the off-stump, taken by Ramsey, no run. And then Enmore, the furthest, up on the East Coast. You'll have a couple of matches there. Not bad at all, but I guess they've got to get some things in order, maybe in terms of Albion. Well, I'm not sure about that. On the back foot goes Johnson, pushes it out towards cover, and there is no run.
Well, I'm not sure exactly what's happening with Albion Ground, but quite often when you read of what's happening in Berbice in terms of cricket, lots of finals, lots of cricket still being played at Albion, so I know that it's in good shape in terms of facilities. I'm not certain.
Charles bowls outside the off stump. Johnson lets it go, taken by Dinesh Ramsey, no run, 95 for 2. So you're talking about 62 plus 5, 67 to get to win this game. The Jaguars will take them up to 154.2 in terms of ending their season. Johnson off the back foot, that's slapped out towards cover. He takes a quick single, the return coming in from cover, but the batsmen were easily home. 96 now for 2. Johnson moves on to 55. Chandra Paul comes in to strike on 30. Hemraj made a duck and Vishal Singh 5 last evening. The 2 wickets to have fallen thus far. And Ramden starting with Philip and Brian Charles, the off spinner. Right hand round the wicket, comes up in bowls to Chandrapal. He's sweeping, doesn't get the control shot that he was looking for, just bouncing away behind the forward short leg field, who tidies up. The over comes to an end. 95 or 96 is it for the loss of 2. Chandrapal is on 30. Johnson is on 55. 5 extras. 32 overs have been bowled in the Jaguars innings thus far. More from John, and then it will be in the G.
Leon Johnson is now on his 4th half century of this year's tournament. He started with a 51 against the Windward Islands in St. Lucia. Then he had back-to-back half centuries against Jamaica here at Providence. That was in round number 7 or thereabout. And now, this knock of him, 55, despite is not like what he got against Jamaica, 61 not out in the second innings. It is, in my opinion, his best knock. It is most controlled knock. He looked like in total control of this innings, and he was playing the ball on its merit from the first delivery he faced, and he was actually playing the ball on its merit as well, looking very good and in total control like a captain. And that's a Leon Johnson we know, and he is saving his best for last. And why not? You definitely will be giving the spectators and the cricketing public something to remember you about. And this knock here, taking your team home, is what they'll remember you for. If you had failed, and they'll be calling for your head. But it's a very good knock, as we say good afternoon once again to Inderjeet.
Yes, John, good afternoon to you. And is that Tion Webster? He leaves the commentary box then. He comes up and bowls to Johnson, and he's locked in defense, plays away down towards short cover, and there is no run. The score is kept on 95 for the loss of 2 wickets. This has been a very good partnership here for the Jaguars, doing pretty well. And I think that Dinesh Ramden, when he looks back at the strategy with him bowling Brian Charles from the southern end of the ground instead of Odin Smith or Daniel Sinclair, will realize that, you know what, I've just made a mistake. This is a big drive from Leon Johnson, cracking shot through wide mid-off and down to the boundary for 4. Johnson moves on to 59, and that will take the score now to 100, says the scoreboard. It's 100 for the loss of 2. That was a great shot.
Yes, a nice flowing off drive from Leon Johnson, and certainly looking, like I said earlier, in total control and playing like a man who knows how to bat. And that's a Leon Johnson that we would like to see more often than not. You know, some days are not going to be your day, but today, in this game, he certainly looked very good in the second innings. Well played.
Yes, begins to move in once again, comes up, bowls to Johnson. That's a short lifting delivery outside the line of the off stump, goes by into the gloves of the keeper, and there is no run. And Dinesh Ramden, 2 of his best bowlers, John, Odin Smith and Daniel Sinclair, we haven't seen them given the ball. It's very poor captaincy by Dinesh Ramden. You want to make a fight for it. He's actually waiting on something to happen, and that's not good at all. Here is Webster. He begins to move in once again, passes the umpire, bowls to Johnson, gets a very good delivery. He didn't come forward, he was just standing up straight, tucks it away to the onside field, and there is no run. And in these circumstances, John, you will want to ensure that your bowlers that trouble the batsman given every opportunity to perform.
Daniel Sinclair can be thinking that he's very unlucky just to be given 5 overs. He did the damage in the first innings in one spell, picked up 3 for 15, and was not used again for that first innings. Granted, the Guyana Jaguars batting did not last very long, but in this second innings, when he needed to perhaps break this partnership, Ramden did not call on Sinclair.
This is a short lifting delivery outside the line of the off stump. It goes into the gloves of the keeper. There is no run as the ball is relayed away into the offside field. The score stays on 100 for the loss of 2. So the Jaguars, they're looking for just 62 runs more for victory. And something great is going to happen today, John. The Jaguars, for the first time in the history of regional cricket, under the skipper of Leon Johnson, will be having 5 consecutive titles. That's a moment to cherish. Here is Webster, comes in, bowls, he sprays it wide outside the line of the off stump, and there is no run. The ball goes by into the gloves of the keeper. The over is completed, 100 for the loss of 2.
Yes, and I'm happy to be part of history, and I'm sure many others who are here as well, following or even right here at the ground, they're happy to be part of history. Leon Johnson and the Guyana Jaguars, they started the tournament very well. 4 consecutive victories, and that was on the road as well. And then they came back home and continued to win. So it's really something special for them to cherish. They had to work hard. The Leeward Islands and the other rest of teams, they're catching up really, seeing what the Guyana Jaguars have been doing over the years to be successful, and they're doing that. The Jaguars, they lost a few players to international duties and to injuries, etc. It was a long period as well, long season. So they really had to pull out all stops to go and complete this yet another victory. And I must say congratulations to them. And everybody should be proud of their Guyana Jaguars.
Certainly. Here is Brian Charles. He continues right arm off spin. This is tossed up and Chanda Paul is coming forward. Plays away down towards short mid wicket. Once again, there is no run. So this is huge and it should be celebration right across the 216,000 square kilometers of Guyana. Tossed up outside the line of the off stump. Goes by into the gloves of the keeper. Regional rivalry since cricket began in the West Indies has always been very, very competitive. People are very patriotic. We know this is franchise cricket as well. Different territories have players playing across the region, and that's good for the cricket as well. But it has always been great. Here is Charles. He's tossing up to Chanda Paul. He comes forward. He defends. Played out into the offside field, and there is no run. Cricket, a household sport across the region, John.
Yes, and it has been like that for many decades and will continue because we see lots of young cricketers coming out, and lots of innovations in the game as well.
Yes, this is defended down towards short cover by Tej Narayan Chanda Paul once again. There is no run. Sometimes you're so busy with your work, you don't even get a chance to say hello to your neighbor. But when cricket is playing, there's always a shout out. As this one is outside the line of the off stump, cut away by Johnson. Down towards cover, there is no run.
And sometimes I ask my wife, don't these people ask me any other thing except cricket? In traffic, I'm frustrated with the traffic sometimes, and they all ask how the game went.
Yes, this is played away down towards short cover. There is no run. The over comes to an end. 100 for the loss of 2. Leon Johnson is on 59. Tej Narayan Chanda Paul has 30. And when your team that you're backing do well, everybody's happy. And when your team lose, like yesterday, when the West Indies were bundled out for 45, there were some real sour faces around.
Wow. Yeah, the people, the same fans who are celebrating, they tend to change. Then you think that they're bandwagonists. Very next day after a victory and the team does bad, you'll hear, oh, look, that's your team. Yeah, but it's all part of the game. The spectators, they're so important to cricket. And when they're in, they're in. And I tell you what, when you do bad, they're the first to let you know that you have done bad as well.
Yes, certainly. And they say that a West Indian cricketer is as good as his last match. Here is Webster. He comes in, bowls to Johnson. That delivery was a little bit closer to the line of the off stump, but Leon Johnson is showing good judgment. He allows the ball to go by into the gloves of the keeper. There is no run. So wherever you are listening on Cricket 360 radio, a production on behalf of Cricket West Indies, especially if you're in Guyana, New River Triangle, and then you go all the way to the Winey and the Wenamu across this beautiful land. Your boys have done pretty well this year, and they're going to feel real happy. You can imagine that celebration from the team when they get to that 162. Here is Webster, comes in, bowls to Johnson, pitched up and he's driving. That's a lovely shot down towards the field on the cover boundary, and Johnson gets another run. He moves on now to 60, 101 for the loss of 2.
Lots of people must be recognized as well for the Guyana Jaguars' success, not only this season, but over the years, because there's that ongoing academy setup employed by Cricket Guyana Inc., where they have players that are contracted to play cricket, and they train on a daily basis, really Monday to Thursday at the Everest Cricket Club right now, and they go to the respective clubs and play on the weekend sometimes, or even when they have games, they play on the weekend, and then they come back on Monday to do it all over again.
Yes, that's a short lifting delivery outside the off stump. Well bowled by Webster. He went through to Bramble. There is no run. And you're right, John. While we are offering congratulations to the Jaguars, very important to recognize Cricket Guyana Inc. and the role that they have played as well to make this a professional bunch of people. They concentrate on cricket, so they have a job that is guaranteed, and also lots of training session, and it has proved real well for them over the years. Here is a delivery. And that is down the leg side, and it misses Bramble. In fact, Ramdin missing the ball, and it goes away down towards the boundary for runs, so he got a touch on it, and Ramdin dived away towards his right, couldn't come up with it. So 4 more to the left-handed Tej Narang Chandapal. He will now move on to 34, says the board, 105 for the loss of 2.
From the body language of Tian Webster, as that ball beat Dinesh Ramdin diving away to his right, you can tell that Chandapal had some amount of bat on that one. It was a good delivery on the line of the body, really, and Chandapal had to fend at it. And he got some amount of bat, maybe some pad as well, as it went way away from Ramdin and into the boundary for 4. But maybe can be counted as a half chance.
Here he begins to move in once again. Webster comes up, bowls to Chandapal outside the line of the off stump. He pulled the bat just inside the line at the last moment, and it goes by into the gloves of the keeper. Once again, there is no run. 105 for the loss of 2. Hemraj gone back to the pavilion yesterday. He didn't score. Vishal Singh went back to 5 as well. But John, despite the Jaguars will go on to win their 5th consecutive title, there will still be some problem areas. They have to go back and look and see what went wrong, especially when you come towards the second half of the tournament. Here is a delivery outside the line of the off stump. That's badly bowled by Webster, spraying it far too wide. The over is completed. Leon Johnson is on 60. Tej Narang Chandapal has 34. It's 105 for the loss of 2.
When a team is winning, you tend to forget about the problems and the flaws. But when the team starts to do bad, all the bad things are to come out and be exposed. So I think the Guyana Jaguars, after this season, should go back to the drawing boards and look at every game that they have played and analyze it, sort of like a post-mortem, not because they have done well or they have won a match or a tournament that they're going to forget about the problems, because they can actually do better. There's always room for improvement. And if you look at what's happening around the world, whenever a sport team addresses the media after a game, they always talk about that silver lining, because there's always room for improvement, talking about the positives. So the Guyana Jaguars must look at the negatives as well if they're going to continue to be a professional unit and a force to be reckoned with in the future.
Yes, they will have to. This is tossed up, and Johnson is driving away down towards square cover. He gets a run. There is protection on the boundary. Moves on to 61, 106 for the loss of 2. And while they will go on to win their 5th consecutive title, when you look at the bigger picture now, there aren't too many Guyanese that are in the West Indies team. So there is still some bother there, because we have been winning the regional tournament and our players going through at the highest level. That should be of some concern as well. He's coming forward, gets a good delivery outside the line of the off stump, and it trickles away down towards the first slip fielder. Odin Smith is in the way. He collects. There is no run, especially the batting department. I think that's an area that will be of lots of concern. Here is Charles. He comes in, bowls to Johnson. He gets on the back foot stylishly and plays it away down towards short extra cover. Once again, there is no run. In fact, that's Tej Narang Chandapal.
I think the word that we should all use in this situation is consistency, or lack of in this case.
Outside the line of the off stump, goes by into the gloves of Dinesh Ramdin. Once again, there is no run. There's a forward short leg and slip backward point. There's extra cover. There's a wide mid-off. We have mid-on as well and a short mid-wicket. Here is Charles. He comes in, bowls to Chandapal, and he's tucking this one away into the onside field. The return comes in, and once again, there is no run. So Charles, while he's trying his best out there, he's ineffective at the moment, not presenting any bother whatsoever to the left-handed Tej Narang Chandapal nor Leon Johnson, and they have scored freely against him as well. Here is Chandapal. He's cutting one, gets it away down towards short cover. There is no run. The over is completed. It's 106 rather, for the loss of 2. Johnson is on 61. Tej Narang Chandapal has 34.
That's the 12th over from Brian Charles coming to an end. None for 34 so far. He started the bowl with a relatively hard ball last evening when the lights were on, and the Guyana Jaguars, they've just lost their 2nd wicket. But what he was doing was bowling with a new ball, not getting a lot of purchase from that ball on the pitch. And the captain, Ramdin, recognizing that he should have used some other bowlers, started to make the changes at the top end, at the northern end, T.N. Webster replacing Anderson Phillip. But I think Charles is struggling as well. His most experienced spinner and most successful spinner in Imran Khan just bowled 1 over last evening. He should have at least been given a run as well.
Yes, certainly. It's kind of a little strange captaincy here by Dinesh Ramdin. As we watch Webster, he comes in, bowls to Leon Johnson, and he's working this one nicely through mid-wicket. Imran Khan is after it. He's going to get there about now. Johnson turns, and he will come back, and Imran Khan doesn't even bother to send the return in. They completed 3. Good-looking shot. The score moves on now to 109 for the loss of 2, and Leon Johnson, he moves on to 64.
That's good now. Good shot again from Johnson. Not trying to hit it too hard, just placing it with the line through the mid-on region. And Imran Khan, who we're speaking about, had a chase. So Johnson coming back for 3 runs. Good, brilliant sunshine. So the pitch certainly flattened out nicely. We haven't seen any two-pace deliveries today. And the batsmen continue to look so confident and comfortable with every shot, really. And this partnership is getting closer to 3 figures. It's now 97 in the Jeet and looking very good.
Yes, certainly it has. Webster comes up, bowls to Chandapal outside the line of the off stump. He allows it to go by. Goes away into Dinesh Ramdin. There is no run. And while the Jaguars will be celebrating, the Red Force will be preparing for their final encounter. And that will be against the Volcanoes. It will be played at Taruba.
No, they're going to be playing against Jamaica Scorpions.
Scorpions, I beg your pardon. That's right, the Scorpions.
Yes, in South Trinidad.
Yes, and lots of questions will be asked as well because their performance this year has not been to the best. There was greater expectation for the Red Force team. Here is Webster, comes in, bowls to Tejnarayan Chandapal. That's a good delivery, and the left-hander looks very solid. Plays it away down towards short cover, and there is no run.
And then we're going to go back to what I said earlier, consistency or lack of once again, because the Trinidad and Tobago Red Force team, they started very poorly. They changed management, coach and manager, and some players were in and out. They won a few matches, and then they went back to their losing ways, and then last game they won again. So they need to be more consistent as well as a team.
Yes, this is worked away into the onside, down towards mid-wicket by Chandapal. They get the single. He moves on now to 33. And the scoreboard will move on to 110 for the loss of 2. Ravi Rampal was brought back in the team against Guyana. They did pretty well. They won that match. Lendell Simmons played a game for them, struck a century as well. I'm not too sure. Where is Lendell Simmons at the moment?
Not sure either, but Simmons had a century, 2 half centuries,
That's
and
right.
a 30-odd knock in his 4 innings and disappeared. Not sure if he's injured or if he's some part of the world. So remember, he's a T20 globe trotter.
Yes, and there's the Pakistan Premier League as well. So you'll never know. We haven't heard. It's going to be interesting to know. But the Trinidad and Tobago Red Force, better was expected from them. And I'm a little bit surprised on day number 3. They come back here with the Jaguars, still looking for 93. No pressure whatsoever. There seemed to be no motivation out in the middle. And their skipper, Dinesh Ramdin, he looks as though, well, everything is all right. As we watch Webster, he comes in, bowls to Johnson. That's a short ball, and this is tucked around down towards the backward square. A little bit of fumble on the boundary line. Doesn't present the opportunity of a second. They get the single. 1 more to Johnson. He's on to 64. 111 for the loss of 2. The over is completed.
It is a low-scoring game so far, and with still 93 required for the Guyana Jaguars. 8 wickets in hand. I felt as well that it could have gone either way still. Panic could have stepped in, had a few wickets being taken quickly in the Guyana Jaguars batting, and they perhaps would have rolled over easily. And I think that's where Dinesh Ramdin missed the trick, and the rest of the Trinidad and Tobago Red Force team as well. They should have applied the pressure. I mean, Johnson and Chandapal batted really well last night for that 50-odd partnership that saw the Guyana Jaguars safely to 6-9 for the loss of 2, and within sight of victory. But we know how fast the game has been changing with this ping ball. So if they had actually applied some more pressure, the Red Force team, to this Jaguars batting and created some opportunities, and those opportunities were taken, it could have been a different game. But they came very defensive. I think they've accepted that they have lost this game already, just a matter of time. And as a result of that, they're not trying too hard to create any opportunities, just waiting for the Guyana Jaguars to celebrate.
Yes, that's the way it looks from here when you watch out in the middle. The players, it's been a hot afternoon, and they're engaging themselves on the water trolley, no doubt cooling themselves. And I observed something. They waited until 55 minutes of play, and that was just before this over, before the little water break, before 6 of their players got together with their skipper had a little conversation out in the middle, and that's almost like when the horse has bolted. The score then was on 110 for the loss of 2. You need that communication. That little bit of advice should have been done a little bit earlier.
And then with that late communication, I don't think it might have been a cricket conversation. That said, I think
The carnival is finished, you know.
I agree with you. I mean, they need to have consultations every so often. The captain is just one individual. It's a team effort. If some player or some players have recognized some weaknesses or some opportunities that they can actually capitalize on, they should approach the captain or some other senior players. You know, and I think that they have done the right thing. But like you said, maybe a bit too late. I would have liked to see Imran Khan being introduced at the bottom end a bit early so that he can actually settle in as well and give the Guyana Jaguars some things to think about. He's a hard work. He's a spinner. And spinners need some time to settle in. But the way the Guyana Jaguars are settled right now, this partnership, 99 runs and on course for another victory, it's going to be very difficult to dislodge them now. So this is basically a time where the Guyana Jaguars, they're just waiting to bring up the extra runs to win, and they're trying to pick a red force, but just waiting to leave the field and to leave Guyana.
Yes, and we rightfully praised the Red Force when they were bowled out for 120. They came back at the Jaguars. It was not a case where they give up. They realized they had a very poor first innings total of 120, but they came out fighting. And because of their attitude and what they did, you look at the happiness on their faces, they were very relaxed. They restricted the Jaguars to 165. So that was a very good bowling performance by them as well. Then they faced a deficit of 45. They struggled again in their second innings, but they managed to get on to 206, setting the Jaguars that 162. Then they came out last night and they picked up 2 early wickets. It was 12 for 2 overnight. Then we saw that partnership between the two. But they've come back here on the 3rd day, and we haven't seen that sting inside of them. Sometimes you wonder what goes wrong. And I always feel the true measure of any leader is how he inspires his charges in the darkest moment. And they face a real dark moment in this encounter. And Brian Charles will continue. Matthew Kisoon is going to pick up the commentaries, and in a moment or so, he's going to be joined by Clyde Butts. Hello to you, Clyde. The Jaguars, they are roaring to victory.
They certainly are. And I don't want to say the Red Force has helped them, but I thought the Red Force could have done a little better this afternoon when they came out. They certainly looked like if they had already chucked the game when they came out this morning, and they probably decided that, look, there is no way we can hold the Jaguars, so just give in.
Puzzling captaincy by Dinesh Bramble.
Well,
a man who's captained the West Indies side.
the thing there is that
Here is Johnson over mid-on, down to the boundary for 4. Second delivery from Brian Charles. Down the track and lifted that over mid-on into the boundary for 4. His intentions has been clear from the time he came out to bat for the Jaguars. He's gone up to 69. It's 115, the scoreboard says, for the loss of 2.
yeah, that was a good shot. That was a delivery that was pitched up. Given the air, he came down the track and hit it over the man at mid-on, and it went into the boundary for 4. Yes, his intention was clear from, I think, last evening, the way we batted.
He started a bit shakily, but he's picked up nicely forward. Back he goes and pushes it back towards Charles. And there is no runs. So 50, how many runs they need now? Clyde, my mathematics has got to be spot on here. Here is a ball that forces him onto the back foot, pushed into the offside, no run. So some 45, 47 runs, I believe, to get now. And that it's important that our listeners take note of that. 115 for 2. Johnson down the track, checks the shot, turns it nicely down through forward square for a single. He moves to 70 now, so he gets his 70th run. 35 to Tej Chandra Paul, 116 for the loss of 2. So they need 46 to win this game. And really, Clyde, I think yesterday you said if the target was around 250, it would have been tricky indeed. And if it was indeed 250, well, the captaincy of Bramble would have been totally different.
Maybe it would have been, we never know. But I thought the way how the Jaguars have been batting on the second innings, they've always looked to bat. They've batted much better than in the first innings. So we'll just have to wait and see. Just a few people going across the side screen has hold up play a little.
Right, so quickly, I'll give you some bowling figures as Charles comes in from the far end. He's up there now, bowls to Chandrapal. Chandrapal gets the ball on the leg stump, turns it to forward short leg, no run. Khan, 1 over for 5. Smith, 4 overs for 13. Sinclair, 8 overs, 1 for 29. He hasn't bowled this afternoon. And Charles has just completed his 12 to over and none for 32. And Philip, 13 overs, 1 for 23. The bowling figures for you. But 46 away now, Clyde. And we're in the early part, just the first over completed on day 3. So this game probably is going to end not too long from now. What's your guess? Just after the first
Well,
break?
I think just after the break it would end. I don't know if they're allowed to continue play for a victory, allow a half-hour play for a victory. But I think if that is allowed, I think you can actually have the game finished before the break. But I'm not sure if that is allowed. So we may well see play going on after the break. Or we never know. Leon Johnson as well. And here is the question.
Here is Webster bowls outside the off stump taken by
There's
the
a
captain.
possibility of scoring 100. I think we have missed all of, in all the
Yes.
excitement of victory. We have
Yes.
missed that. He's got 70. You still need
46.
still need 46 runs. So that possibility is there for Leon Johnson to get 100.
And with someone like Chandrapal batting with him, he can certainly get that 100.
Oh, yes.
He's on 35. You know, he's the one that he doesn't score at a fast rate, but Johnson scored at a good rate this afternoon so far. He's looking for a single, stabs it out into the offside, and Chandrapal sends him back. He's kept on 70. But Clyde ended with 154.2 points, not bad at all, and the Leewards would need 23 in their last game against Barbados in Antigua. That's not going to be
Well, the
easy for
Leewards
them.
have to win the game that they're playing now
First, yeah,
first.
that's
So
right.
I think that's what has to happen first.
A similar game in terms of runs to be scored, 166 to win. John will update us in terms of what's happening in that match. 66 for 4, Clyde Butts. That's an interesting game up there.
That's why I said they have to win the game first.
So they need 100 with 6 wickets in hand, the Leewards. Keen interest in that match. Here is a ball outside the off stump, taken by Ramden, and there is no run. Brilliant sunshine at Providence. Clyde, I have to say I'm impressed with a few spectators in the green stand.
Oh, yes, there are a few people coming out to probably wish the guys well. They've done well, and how nice it would have been to see a few more people out there really cheering them on to their 5th title. I think when you win 5th title straight, he certainly deserves a lot of credit.
Here is Webster, right hand over the wicket, gentle medium pace, and brings Johnson forward as he steers it down to backward point for 1. He's gone up to 71 now. Well, they didn't have anything to cheer about yesterday in that T20 match, West Indies versus England. So why not come out and cheer your Guyana side?
Yes, and a lot of times we tend to forget about all the players, and sometimes we concentrate on the captain. But I think all the players deserve the credit that they're getting, the management team in terms of Bryson Crandon, who's gone on, Ryan Griffith, Shivnarayan Chandrapal, who came. They've got a physiotherapist in Young Barry, the trainers and so on, even the fellas from the academy, the Hiles and the Grimmons and
That's
so on,
right.
the guys behind the scene. I think you've got to give all of those guys some sort of credit for the way how they've worked with the players over the years. And sometimes we tend to forget those little things and we concentrate on maybe one person or a few persons. But I think everybody has played their part and they deserve the credit.
Outside the off stump, that previous delivery. Let's watch Webster bowl to Chandrapal on the off stump, driven down to short extra cover where Joshua De Silva is, and there is no run. But I quite agree with you, Clyde. Everyone has done their part. And one of the things about the Jaguars side, I think, echoed by Ryan Griffith, is that they practice hard. And without that discipline in terms of practicing hard, maintaining your fitness, you can't really go out and play 4 good days of cricket. The over comes to 117 for the loss of 2. They now need 45 to win this game, Clyde.
Yes, and the thing is that 2 of the bowlers that actually got you the wickets in the first inning, Smith and Sinclair, they haven't had a bowl today. It's probably saving them for the next game. But as somebody said earlier, you're just as good as your last game. So, you've got to take every game in stride. And maybe we needed to see them have a little spell this morning at the Jaguars.
Charles comes up, he's in both to Johnson. Johnson is flicking it down to fine leg. A chase here for Odin Smith. And he gets a single. In fact, that will be a leg by. That came off the pad, so one more to extras. Extras will move on to 6, 118 now for the loss of 2. And why would you save Sinclair and Smith for a game against Jamaica, who's at the bottom of the table? Why would you?
Maybe, I don't know, maybe they have some niggles as well. Yeah? We can be talking here and maybe those players have niggles.
Forward comes Chandrapur, plays back to Charles, no run. Solitary slip, forward short leg, backward point cover, extra cover short. There's a mid-off, mid-on, mid-wicket, and the backward square on the boundary. Here is Charles, comes up, he's in both to Chandrapur, he's on the back foot, punches it back to Charles, who moves across his right to field, and there is no run, 118 for 2. So the Jaguars have progressed from 69 for 2 overnight. Johnson 37, 8 fours at that stage. Chandrapal 22 with 3 boundaries. And Johnson has got up to his 31st half century at first class level. Forward comes Chandrapal, pushes it into the onside. There is no run, 118 for 2.
Yeah, Brian Charles hasn't really done the sort of business that Ramdin obviously wanted him to do, try and put some pressure on the 2 left-handers.
Here is Charles, balls on the middle stump. Chandrapal is forward defensive, tight in defense as he plays it into the offside, no run. Johnson has got 400s. He can make this a 5th. And he's playing in his 90th first-class match. Here is Charles, comes up, he's in balls to Chandrapal. He's turning it into the leg side, picked up by Joshua De Silva, forward short leg. The over comes to an end, 118 for the loss of 2. Chandrapal is 35 and Johnson 71.
Yeah, I think Leon Johnson must be aware as well that he's got to 71. He hasn't had a lot of hundreds in regional tournament. When you've got 90 games and you've only got 400s, must be a little bit disappointing for him. So I'm sure he must be thinking there at the back of his mind, well, if I can just sneak a few boundaries here and there, there may be a chance of me getting to that 3 figure. And I'm sure it's something that he has got at the back of his mind.
And I think that would be a really good way for him to end in terms of winning a 5th title. If he gets himself a personal 100, and then for the team, for the effort of the team, certainly Johnson would be an extremely proud man. Here is a ball outside the off stump taken by Rambling, kept a bit low, Webster. I'm not sure, but you said it could be a little bit of niggling stuff with these fast bowlers, maybe Sinclair, Odin Smith.
I think the thing is as well is that they obviously came out to play this morning with a plan. So it means that the management and everybody would have had that sort of plan. And sometimes we talk about the captain, but it's obviously what was a plan.
2 slips go down outside the off stump taken by Dinesh Ramdin again, and there is no run. But I just get the impression when you look sometimes at the body language of players out there, you're playing first class cricket here in the Caribbean, sometimes you just get the impression that there are times when there's a lack of interest, Clyde.
That's a little bit harsh and sometimes on the players as well, because when you say lack of interest, it's supposed to be a professional season.
That's right.
You're supposed to be proud and you're supposed to be wanting to play for your country.
Here's a ball that's missed time by Johnson, looking for the pull shot through the leg side. And it bounces out to mid-on.
And every player, I'm sure, that plays in the regional tournaments, their idea must be that they want to play at the top. They want to play for West Indies. They want to play at the highest level. So if you're going to come here, I'm sure you're thinking, boy, if I can get things right, get some runs, get some wickets, look the part, impress the selectors, I have a chance of playing for West Indies.
Smith and Sinclair, they haven't bowled this afternoon. Here is Johnson. That's short of a length, and that's tucked around. That's gone through mid-wicket, through forward square, 4 runs. Short down the leg side, and that was pulled nicely by Johnson for a boundary through mid-wicket. He gets his 75th run, 122 for the loss of 2.
Well, it's actually a short, but it was just over off stump, so he was able to tug it in front of square on the onside and get 4 runs. It was a good-looking shot. He had to wait on it, didn't try to hit it too hard. He placed it nicely, and he got 4 runs. That's the hallmark of a batsman that is in form, and I've said it before, and I'm going to say it again. every time Leon Johnson looks to be positive, play shots, he has looked good. The times that I've seen him this year, he has looked good.
Webster bowls to Johnson. He's back looking to cut that and played underneath that one, going through to Ramden, who takes. He's kept on 75-35 to take Chandrapal, 122 for the loss of 2. So they need 40 now. So they've erased from 93 needed overnight to 40. So they've actually, They've collected some 50 runs this afternoon. Here is Webster, comes up, he's in, bowls to Johnson. Johnson's back, cuts it away, down towards backward point. There's a field on the boundary. He comes in, picks up. Is it Jason Mohammed? Sends his return back to Captain Ramden. 123 for the loss of 2. Johnson moves to 76 as the over comes to an end. Clyde Butts, 123 for 2 now, getting closer to that coveted 5th consecutive title win.
Well, they are getting there, and they're getting it at a nice rate as well, nice pace, without a lot of trouble. They haven't been troubled by the bowlers. I think Philip, when he started this afternoon, he bowled well, bowled some good deliveries, beat both batsmen. But at the other end, Brian Charles has not kept that pressure on the batsmen. They got runs off of him, and there was no pressure. He didn't really bother any of the batsmen out in the middle.
So Charles comes up, he's in, bowls to Johnson down the track and drives down to mid-wicket for no run. They came together with a score 12, so they've brought up a century partnership for the 3rd wicket. 111 so far between these two. Here is a ball that's on the leg stump. Johnson is across and plays with the spin down on the leg side of the pitch, picked up by Joshua De Silva, no run. So they've added 54 this afternoon, these two. And you can add from overnight, it's 111. He looks to sweep. He's given out. Johnson is given out, looking to sweep and missed the shot. Struck on the path, Clyde Butts. And Jacqueline Williams took a couple of seconds before she stopped that right finger up. 123 for the loss of 3. Now 111 run 3rd wicket partnership coming to an end. Johnson gone for 76. He wouldn't get that 5th 100, but certainly with a victory under the Jaguars belt, he would be certainly proud of this innings of 76.
Well, he played a wonderful innings for his country. He came in last evening when the score was 12 for 2, and the Jaguars in a lot of trouble. He scratched a little for the first 10 minutes or so, and then he settled in and batted nicely. I think he would be disappointed with that, with getting out at this time. When he settled, he's been playing well. That was a delivery, probably just pitched about middle and leg stump. It straightened on him, and maybe, he might be thinking I'm a little bit hard done by that shot. But certainly, when you looked at it, it looked fairly adjacent. Maybe might have just be drifting down the leg side, but I don't think you can fault the umpire for that decision. I think it was a brave decision when you get a decision like that where the ball actually pitched and she had the chance to see the ball do its work, and then she took her time to make the decision as well.
Right, so John giving a little comment at the back, but 123 for 3 now. Clyde, a lovely partnership coming to an end. 111 runs for that 3rd wicket.
Yeah, and I think in that partnership we tended to praise Leon Johnson and forget about young Chandrapal, and most of the praise went to Johnson because he was actually scoring, and Chandrapal kept just pushing the ball around, looking for singles, turning over the strike, and he has done a wonderful job with the skipper in that innings. I'm sure, I've said it before, that a lot of these players have to think about how they're leaving the tournament, and young Chandrapal is showing you how he's going to leave. This is how I started. I'm going to leave getting runs as well. So
Charles bowls his second delivery to Christopher Barnwell, who's out there now, the right-hander who plays for DCC's forward, gets it off the outer portion of the bat, down towards backward point, no run. So Charles has finally picked up his first wicket in this match, Clyde Butts. Brian Charles, the off spinner, bowling over the wicket. Comes up, he's in, bowls to Barnwell. That's on the leg stump, looking to tickle it down to fine leg and got it down to forward short leg, no run. He's kept a knot. Chandrapal 35, 123 for the loss of 3. You've just joined the broadcast on day 3. Well, let's tell you, the Jaguars overnight, they were 69 for 2, Johnson 37, Chandrapal 22. And at that stage, they still needed 93 runs to win coming into day 3. Well, they started well with Leon Johnson playing very positive indeed, and Chandrapal giving him the support that he needed. He was just out, leg before wicket to the bowling of Charles for 76, ending a 111-run third wicket partnership between himself and Chandrapal. 123 for the loss of 3. He went in the 42nd over of the Guyana Jaguars' second innings. There's still what? Some 37 runs behind? 39 runs behind actually in terms of winning this game. They need 162 to win the game, Clyde, as Tion Webster gets ready now to bowl to take Chandrapal. But a really good fighting knock from the Guyana captain as Guyana head up to winning this match and certainly winning the title for a 5th year. Off the back foot, that slapped out to cover. Feel a nice little slide from Carrie Peer moving to his left. And Chandrapal gets one. He's 36, 124 for 3.
Yeah, that was a bad delivery, really, a rank long hop. And Chandrapal, would have think that he missed out on that one. Probably didn't time it as well as he would have liked. That should have gone through a cover region for a boundary.
So 38 needed, Clyde. The countdown is well and truly on. I'm sure that NCN's radio, the voice of Guyana, 560 AM and 102.5 FM, has ensured that listeners get the broadcast throughout this lovely country of Guyana. Here is Webster, comes up, bowls to Barnwell, full toss, flicked away down to mid-wicket. He can't score. He's kept a knot. And the score is kept in 124 for 3. So 38 needed now, Clyde Butts. It's inching closer and closer. Barnwell got 20 in the first innings. He was leg before wicket to the bowling of Sinclair. He settles. I'm sure if someone gets out now, Bramble will be the man to come next. And then you've got Reefer, you've got Shepherd, Lois and Pamal. So they will need to battle along here. There's still Rutherford as well. Here is a ball that's on the middle stump, wrapped on the pan. Loud appeal, not out, says umpire. Got start from Jamaica. 2 Jamaican umpires out there, Clyde. And good delivery by Webster, nevertheless.
That was well bowled. That was just outside the off stump. Maybe Barnwell looking to come across his off stump. The ball was coming in back into him, and maybe he would have been hit just outside the off stump in the umpire's opinion. But that certainly looked like if it was going to hit the stump. But I think he may have been hit outside the off stump, and the umpire said not out.
Slip and what you would call a 4th slip, probably backward point cover, short extra cover, mid-off, mid-on, mid-wicket and a long leg. Webster comes up, bowls to Barnwell. He lets it go outside the off stump, taken by Dennis Ramdin. And the score is kept on 124 for 3. So Hemraj made a duck, Singh 5, and Johnson just out for a well-played. His 31st first class, 50, 76 he made. Leg before wicket at the ball of Charles, who picked up his very first wicket in this innings. He didn't need to have a ball in the first innings because the Jaguars were dismissed for 165 and he didn't bowl in that innings. Here is a ball that's again outside the off stump, kept a bit low as it hustles through to Ramdin, and there is no run. 124 for 3. Brilliant sunshine of Providence. Nice little crowd in the green stand watching this game to ensure that they're present when the Jaguars bring home the title for a 5th consecutive year under Johnson's captaincy. He's done well, most successful Guyana captain. Here is Webster bowls. He leaves it alone outside the off stump. Barnwell taken by Dinesh Ramdin. The over comes to Nen, 124 for 3. Chandrapal is there. He's a rock of Gibraltar, as we would say. 36 not out. Barnwell yet to score. Hemraj a duck. Singh 5 and Johnson 76. The batsman back in the pavilion. 124 for 3. 38 behind. Clyde Butts, more from you, and then it will be Inderjeet.
Well, that was the bad over from Tion Webster bowling just on or about the off stump a little and making the batsman look to play. One delivery actually came back, wrapped him on the pad, and maybe he was just outside the off stump, certainly, but it was a very close call. Or Bramble may have gotten a little inside edge to it as well.
Brian Charles, 14 overs, 1 for 37. He will continue from the southern end. Right arm off spinner, bowls to Chandapal. He comes forward, works it away down towards short mid-wicket, and there is no run. Brilliant afternoon for cricket. And the boys in white out in the middle, they look a picture, especially with their red force caps on. This is Charles tossing up nicely to Chandapal. He's defending, and he has played a good supporting role to Leon Johnson. He's on 36, sir.
He has done the job that probably Johnson need him to do when you think that his score was 12 for 2 last evening when Leon Johnson came out to join him.
Yes, and he has batted well in the circumstances. He's defending to delivery tossed up down towards short cover. And once again, there is no run. So there's the slip, a forward short leg, a backward point. There is cover, extra cover, and a wide mid off Charles. That's a quicker delivery. And Tejnarayan Chandapal, he's not going to be flustered. He just comes quietly, defends, down towards short cover. There is no run on the onside. We have long leg, a short mid-wicket, and a wide mid-on. Charles round the wicket, comes in, bowls to Chandapal, and he's driving down towards wide mid-on. Imran Khan feels since the return in. He must be relishing his chance when he can get to bowl here this afternoon. He has not so far. Just 1 over in this innings, outside the line of the off stump. That's a good delivery and well played too by Tejnarayan Chandapal. The over is completed. Barnwell is yet to score. Tejnarayan Chandapal on 36. The Jaguars, they're 124 for the loss of 3.
Yeah, and I just looking at the cricket, I was just thinking, it's just a wicket had fallen early. And how would have Barnwell and young Chandrapal approached things, you know? How would the Trinidad Red Force have approached things as well? I think that they lose a trick, the Red Force, when they came out this morning by not looking for that wicket and not bowling your bowlers that took the wickets in the first innings or had the batsman under some pressure.
Absolutely, Clyde, and we do agree with you. Dinesh Ramdin actually just waited for something to happen, and it might have happened a bit too late with Leon Johnson, LBW to Charles for 76. Faced 125 deliveries and smacked 14 boundaries, top half century. So now it's going to be Webster to continue the bowling, and he's bowling from the northern end of the ground, and the right-handed Barnwell. He's a big boy, Barnwell. Powerful hit of the cricket ball. And there are lots of territory because all the fielders actually, except the long leg, has come in. Barnwell gets a good delivery, comes forward, plays down towards mid-on. There is no runs. And they've given Barnwell the chance, Clyde, to go after the bowling.
Well, yes. I mean, the bowling has been fairly tight as well since Leon Johnson has left. So, Barnwell has got to decide whether he wants to just bat. He's got lots of time in his hand, lots of time in the day to bat. And I'm sure he would be thinking, if I can just get a little 20, 25 not out, it would do my confidence a lot of good. And certainly would have the selectors come next year still thinking that Barnwell should be a part of the setup. I think those are the things that you've got to think about.
Yeah,
you can't just decide to come out there and just play cricket and then not think about what happens in the future as well.
Yes, and he played defensively. Just didn't look to rush any ball. So many times you look and see that there are open spaces in the outfield and you're tending to go there. And now he's driving over the top of mid-off. That's a deliberate shot, and it gets it out towards the boundary for 4. So Barnwell opens his account with 4. It's now 128 for the loss of 3. That was pitched up and he went after it.
Well, the length was right for the shot as well. It was there to be hit, and he hit it. He hit it over extra cover. He had the confidence to do it over mid-off, and he got 4 runs through it. Now that would do his confidence a little bit load of good as well, and he'll be thinking, well, I just need to keep working, just keep pushing around and look to score.
Yes, and it was against Trinidad and Tobago way back in 1973 at Skeldon that Guyana defeated them to win the regional 4-day title for the first time. As we watch Webster, he comes in, bowls to Barnwell. He's coming forward, stroking it down towards mid-off. And once again, There is no run, and it's against Trinidad and Tobago again, this time under the Red Force brand, that they're going to set this piece of history, winning the title for 5 consecutive
Was that the year when
times.
somebody actually bowled underhand?
Yes,
in
the
that game?
late Joey Carew. That was the time, Clyde. You remember that match?
Oh, I remember that, and the late Joey Carrev asked him about it as well. And he said the Guyanese batsman just wanted to bat and bat and bat, and he had to try something a little different.
Yeah, there were lots of centuries in that 4-day match. Outside the line of the off stump, big drive by Barnwell. Almost took Tejanari Chandapal's head out of his neck. That was viciously hit over mid-on. He gets the boundary. Barnwell, he moves on to 8, 132 for the loss of 3.
Well, if I was Tej, I would have been going down to Barwell and said, there are lots of spaces around the place. Why are you trying to injure me? Because that was hit very hard, and it was hit straight at young Tejanari Chandrapal, who actually was very good in terms of his reflexes, and he got out the way.
He's a lucky man to be standing there, Tejanari Chandapal. And Barnwell, he's a very, very hard hitter of the cricket ball. Now we see that the long on has been posted out on the boundary. Here is Webster. He comes in, bowls to Barnwell. That's short, and he's tugging this one around down towards the backward square. He gets a single, and he will now move on to 9. It's 133 for the loss of 3 wickets. The over is completed by Webster. 133 for 3. 9 is Barnwell. Tejanari Chandapal had 36. And that match we were talking about, Clyde, in 1973 was played at Skeldon. That's a beautiful ground.
That used to be a beautiful ground. I don't think you can say it is a beautiful ground. It used to be a beautiful ground. I've actually played first-class cricket there. I think the last first-class game that would have been played there would have been 1993, if I'm not mistaken. Guyana versus Windward Islands. Clayton Lambert would have gotten a double 100 in that game. I don't think first-class cricket has played there since. So certainly, it used to be a lovely venues. And when you think about the amount of first-class venues Guyana had, it certainly was good for the cricket, and those were good venues as well, not just ordinary venues. They were excellent venues.
Here is Charles. He comes in, bowls to Barnwell, and a big swing by Barnwell there, taken on the pad. It comes away down towards 4 slip. But I can tell you, Clyde, that the ground is still a beautiful ground. Your good old buddy Sidney Jackman spearheaded a committee. They refurbished the commentary box, did some work to the pavilion as well. So it's still a pretty good-looking ground.
Well, that's good to hear, and I'm hoping that cricket is being played up there as well.
Yes, the Upper Quarantine Cricket Association. There are lots of organized cricket that is being played at the top.
And actually, talking about cricket, there's lots of cricket going on right now in Georgetown, which is good to see. I haven't actually seen that in a little while, where cricket is being played at most of the grounds in Georgetown. That's very good to see.
And this is driven away down towards wide mid-off. There is no run. And I'm wondering to know if Clyde Butts is still playing cricket in Georgetown.
No, I'm not.
So here is Brian Charles. He comes in now and bowls to Barnwell, and Barnwell is coming forward. He's working this one, brings the forward square from the boundary, scampering in, collects nicely, will send the return in, and they collect a single. One more to Barnwell. He goes into double figures. He's gone on to 10, and the scoreboard said it's 134 for the loss of 3. Where were you in 1973, John?
In heaven waiting to come down.
And that was when Guyana won the first regional 4-day title against Trinidad and Tobago. Now, the left-handed Tejanari Chandapal is on 36. No doubt his mind should be fixated now on a half-century. Here is Charles. He tosses this one up to Chandapal. He comes forward, defends, down towards short extra cover. There is no run. He has played well.
Wonderfully well. And the way Chandapal has been playing in this innings reminds me of how he started the tournament, when he batted long and allowed the other batters to bat around him.
This is tossed up again, and Chandapal is coming forward, drives, back on the offside of the pitch. There is no run. The over is completed at the end of the over, 134 for the loss of 3.
And when Chandapal bats long, the Guyana Jaguars batsmen bat around him, and then they get big totals. And that was the principal reason that gave the Guyana Jaguars so many batting points at the start of the tournament, so many bonus batting points at that, for scoring 300 plus ever so often in the earlier matches. So they came home after those early matches on the road with lots of cushion, really, and because of that, they can actually win this tournament with a game to spare, really, because the Leeward Islands Hurricanes, their closest competitor, will not be able to catch them, really. It's a possibility, but highly improbable, you know what I mean? So because of that, the bonus points earlier, the Jaguars are in this position thanks a lot to Chanderpaul. And once he bats, like I said, bats long, the other batsmen bat around him. And it goes to show, same thing happened last night. Wickets were falling. He decided to put his head down with his captain, and here they are almost on the verge of victory.
Imran Khan gets his first ball today, and that's a good delivery. Barnwell comes forward, kills the spin, plays on the onside of the pitch. John, maybe you can share what is transpiring in the other matches around the region during the course of this over as we watch Imran Khan. Right arm leg spinner comes in, bowls to Barnwell, and Barnwell is tickling this one. That's a good shot, and it's going to run halfway towards the boundary. Pulled back now by Odin Smith. He's going to send the return in. Barnwell gets 2 more. He moves on to 12, 136 for the loss of 3.
But before we get to the other matches in the region, Imran Khan now coming into the attack. And if the Guyana Jaguars were set back quite early, do you know, based on history of this game, in the twilight what the ping ball does?
He comes forward, plays defensively, up towards short cover. There is no run.
So if the Red Force had picked up a wicket early, the scoring rate perhaps would have been a bit slower, and more would have been required from the Guyana Jaguars a bit later on, and they could have very well challenged themselves to win this game, the Red Force.
Barnwell is smacking this one high in the air. Oh, and that's a brilliant work by the fielder down on the long on boundary. That's Anderson Phillip. He did a great job. He took the catch and realizing he was going over the rope, just pop it back in play, and then he came over the rope and picked it up. Brilliant, brilliant, well done. And Barnwell departs for 12, 136 now for the loss of 4.
The trap was set, and Imran Khan, who now into the attack, bowled and invited Bramble for that drive. He went for a lofted shot, and I tell you what, that's probably one of the best catches I've seen all season. Well done to young Anderson Phillip. He kept his eyes on it. With the momentum, he was going over the rope because he was pedaling back. He decided to throw the ball in the air, step over the boundary, and then run back into field of play to complete the catch. Wonderfully done from Anderson Phillip. Barnwell, there was no need to go for that shot, really. He realized that the fielders on the inner ring were there to prevent the single. He wanted to go for the big shot. He went for the big shot in the previous over, got a boundary, and on this occasion did not clear the ropes. Good catch, and Barnwell perishes, and that may be what he wants the selectors to remember him for.
Yes, I felt what he did there was to fall exactly in the trap that was set. The long on was out. The ball was pitched up. He went after it. The lone man out on the boundary just moved towards his right. That was a brilliant catch by Phillip, and certainly he's going to raise the expectations of the Red Force out in the middle. And it's good to see that all of them left their positions, the Red Force fielder, and came running to Phillip, recognizing how wonderful a catch he has taken.
And I was saying, had the Red Force applied the pressure much early, the scoring rate might not have been so healthy. And with the larger number of runs, let's suppose, still to be gotten a bit later on in the twilight or when the floodlights take full effect, it could have been a difficult task for the Guyana Jaguars, and the Red Force bowlers might have been on top of the game, could have been completing a victory coming from behind. But it was not the case. The Trinidad and Tobago Red Force captain allowed Brian Charles to go on a bit too long. He eventually got the breakthrough, and then after that he has been replaced in the attack. And now Imran Khan, the most successful bowler, finally coming into the attack and got a wicket in his very first over.
Yes, certainly, and that's going to make them feel pretty happy as Bramble comes out into the middle. Khan comes in, bowls to Bramble. He's coming forward. He's on driving down towards long on. Sensible cricket by Bramble. He saw his partner, that's Barnwell, go over the top. He decided to go along the ground. He gets a single. He's off the mark with 137 for the loss of 4.
And you asked for some scores in the G. The Leeward Islands Hurricanes set 166 to win. In their second innings, they had 90 for the loss of 4, 90 for 4, 76 away from victory, with Devon Thomas on 59 and Terence Ward on 20, the not-out batsmen.
It's good to see Devon Thomas getting among the runs there. So the Leewards are fighting for that victory. Imran Khan here at the National Stadium, prepares to move in. Comes in, bowls to Chandapal outside the line of the off stump. The ball spun away into the gloves of the keeper. The over has been completed, a successful one by Imran Khan. 137 for the loss of 4. Tej Narayan Chandapal on 36. Bramble is on 1. More from you, John. And then it's going to be Matthew Kisoon.
Then there's another game, the other one at Sabina Park. Jamaica, they're batting a second time. 129 for 2, Jamaica in their second innings. Scorpions in their first innings made 250. The Barbados Pride replied with 311, a lead of 61. And Jamaica, like I said, in their second innings now 129 for 2. They have an overall lead of 68 with 8 wickets in hand. At the crease, Brandon King on 39 and Jermaine Blackwood 30. Matthew Kisoon, you think you'll take us to a victory?
Well, let's see what will happen. 25 needed for the Jaguars to win here at Providence against the Red Force. As Charles will bowl from the far end. He's coming over the wicket to a man who has made a lot of runs this season, Anthony Bramble. Here is Charles, comes up, bowls to the wicketkeeper batsman who turns it around the corner towards short backward square. And the fielder comes in. It looks like Pierre. They get a single. Bramble has gone on to 2, 138 for 4. We can do the countdown now, John. 24 needed.
24 needed indeed, and Chandapal for his half century, which I think he deserves. He's 14 runs away. Very important that Chandapal continues to bat despite 2 wickets going on in quick succession around him. He needs to play his role and play it very well.
It might be difficult for him to get that half century with someone like a Bramble there. Forward he comes, pushes it down to extra cover, no run. But interesting scores, 90 for 4, the leewards. So nice little battle on there. But Devon Thomas, he batted well in the first innings also. Here is Charles bowling round the wicket to Chandapal on the middle stump. He's playing back to Charles. No run, but an interesting game there as well.
Yeah, the Hurricanes, they need to win to give themselves that outside chance of really coming good in that final game to win.
Here is a ball that's just outside the line of the off stump, turning further away from Chandapal.
But they have to be
kept on 36.
They have to be contented in their final game at home, however, to the Barbados Pride. So they will be hosting the Barbados Pride in Antigua.
Here is a ball on the leg stump. Chandapal is shuffling down the track and then pushes it down to mid-wicket, no run.
And the Pride,
solitary slip.
And the Pride certainly doing well in their game against Jamaica Scorpions and will not want to be disgraced.
Charles comes up, he's in. Chandapal on the middle stump, forward defensive, pushes it into the offside. He overcomes to Nen, 138 for the loss of 4. He's on 36. Bramble, the man who's come out, is on 2. And that was a lovely catch by Anderson Phillip. What ground he covered. And the balance was good on the boundary, John Ramsey. That's what you need from your fielding department. And Imran Khan picking up that wicket. Barnwell looking to play one too many shots, and he got that down to long on. He went for 12, 136 for 4. So the 2 wickets have fallen today. Johnson leg before wicket, bowl Charles 76, 123 for 3. And Barnwell just out caught by Anderson Phillip down on the long on boundary after bowling of Imran Khan for 12, 136 for the loss of 4, John. That's not going to dent the Jaguars in any way at all in terms of this victory.
No, maybe just a few of the batsmen, of course. Leon Johnson would have loved to be there at the end, perhaps with 100. And since that was not to be, Barnwell got into the action. He would have loved to be there at the end as well, coming with a decent start, maybe a 20-odd, coming not out. And that was not to be. So it's now up to Tej Narayan Chandapal and Bramble, 2 of the better batsmen this season.
Khan with 406 first-class wickets brings Bramble forward as he plays it down towards extra cover. And there is no run. He's in his 101st first-class games. He's chalked up a century in terms of his career, first-class career. Campbell's given some air. That's pushed away by Bramble into the offside for no run. He's kept on 2. What a good player Imran Khan has been over the years for Trinidad and Tobago. And now the Red Force added to their name, Trinidad and Tobago Red Force. He's done great service for his side, given some air again on the middle stump. He came forward, Bramble, and then he eased it away through where third slip would have been, or gully, and the fielder having to give chase from point, picks up. He comes back for a second run, Bramble. He moves to 4, 140 now for the loss of 4, John. 22 now needed to win this match.
Bramble giving Imran Khan the charge on that occasion and the ball peeling off the outside edge, and he got 2. But Bramble continues to be very positive, and that's what got him the amount of runs he got this season.
Here is Khan bowling over the wicket to Bramble. He's on the back foot, opens the face, guides it away towards point, and there is no run. How many runs he's got thus far for this season? You check that for us? Or allow you to check that for us? Bramble.
Yeah, Bramble has been very, very prolific. The back-to-back centuries, one in Barbados against that good attack, and then came back here in Guyana.
Slipping a forward short leg. Bramble forward, gets it out to slip off the outer portion of the bat, picked up by Odin Smith, and there is no run.
Yes, but I want to make a mention. You mentioned that Imran Khan,
Yes.
100 first-class matches. Nikita Miller, 100 first-class matches as well, and he was honored in his native Jamaica.
Very good indeed. Here's a ball that's pulled away over wide mid on, 4 runs. In fact, 6. That's gone. That's a big shot by Anthony Bramble, the stockily built young man from Berbice, and he is playing in such a manner that Tej Chandrapal, he's going to not get to that 50 at all. That's a lovely shot. He's 10, 146 for 4.
That's a good shot. Long hop once again, this time from Imran Khan. And Bramble, he will not miss out on that. He's strong, and that ball gone way into the red stand. You see now one of the Red Force players, climbing the rail to get into that stand. That has gone about 20 rows back. That's a big hit. Strong man, Bramble. And you asked about his stats. Before this innings, 560 runs in the tournament,
Bramble.
highest of 168 right here in Guyana, to go with another century on the road and another half century as well. So he has been in good touch for the Guyana Jaguars this season, the leading batsman by far.
Right.
And because of that, the Guyana Jaguars are in such a good position as well. Don't forget his wicket-keeping exploits. He has taken a number of catches, perhaps the most. We can check on that as well in terms of dismissals. And he has been doing this year after year, ever since coming into the Guyana senior team a number of years ago, replacing Derwin Christian, who had done well for Guyana as well. So Bramble certainly picking himself for next season in my book.
Right, and leading with the bat, 560 runs. Won't he be the ideal man to stay there at the end when the victory comes up for the Jaguars?
Don't they all have would love to be there at the end. I think indeed it would be fitting for Bramble to come back to score the winning run maybe, or to be there when the winning run is scored. He has done very well over this year, like he has done last year and the year before, we can say. And he will be very much happy to be there to celebrate in the middle.
Well, they need 16 now. Chandrapal needs 14 to get a half century. That's hardly likely, John Ramsing. Hardly likely indeed.
In the context of the game, yes, we'll say that's not going to happen really.
And he's added what? 22 and 10, 32 and 4. 14 runs today. He was not out 22 overnight, Tej Chandrapal.
So tell you what, Anthony Bramble, 43 dismissals, 1 stumping for the 2 catches this season.
42 catches. He's at a non-strikers then as the new over starts from Brian Charles, bowling round the wicket to Tej Chandrapal, who's driving down to mid-on, and there is no run. Well played to Tej Chandrapal thus far, 36. He stayed there. He's the opening batsman for the Jaguar. That swept, nice shot. Now will come away for 4. You can knock off 4 from 16 and make it 12 for the Jaguars to get now. And that's a nice shot. He must have heard me in the commentary booth saying that he's got to get 14. He's got 4 of the 14 so far.
Well, if Chandrapal heard you, I think also Brian Charles might have heard as well, because he bowled it on the line of leg stump, allowing Chandrapal to go through to sweep that quite easily. He got good connection, and with the pace of the delivery, it went quickly into the boundary. That's a safe shot. There are just 3 fielders on the onside, and nobody really in close proximity to that except for the fielder backward square, way out on the boundary. So that's a safe shot for Chandrapal.
And the 150 coming up in the 50th over. Charles comes up, bowls to Chandrapal. He's forward and plays back to the bowler. And there is no run. Charles in his 18th over. Before this 17 overs, 1 for 39. Philip 13 overs, 1 for 23. Here is Charles comes up. He's in bowls to Chandrapal. He's up on his toes and he's working it down to mid-wicket for no run. Khan, 3 overs, 1 for 8. The next successful bowler along with Charles. So both spinners picking up wickets. Here is a ball that's outside the line of the off stump. He pads up. Ramden takes, no runs. Smith 4 overs for 13. Sinclair 12 overs, 1 for 45. The bowling figures for you thus far. So Khan has picked up a wicket. Charles a wicket this afternoon as well. Charles bowls. Chandrapal is back and punches it down to mid-on where Imran Khan is, and he will obviously continue with the ball in his hand. The over comes to an end. 150 for the loss of 4. Chandrapal 40. Bramble 10.
The board has some of the bowling figures wrong.
Okay, so
Sinclair certainly not 1 for 45, 1 for 21 from his 5 overs, and I think he should have been bowling earlier. He's one of the persons who really gave the Guyana Jaguars lots of problems at the start of their innings, both in first and second innings.
right, so let's go through the correct bowling figures for you. Philip 12 overs, 3 maidens, 1 for 21. Sinclair 5 overs, 1 maiden, 1 for 21. Odin Smith 4 overs, 1 maiden, none for 13. Charles 19 overs, 7 maidens, 1 for 45. Imran Khan, who's about to bowl, 3 overs, no maiden, 1 for 16. And Webster 7 overs, no maiden, none for 30. Here is a ball that's on the line of the off stump. Bramble goes back and punches it down towards cover. And there is no run. Slip forward, short leg, backward point. There's a cover. Deep mid-off. There's a long on. There's a short mid-on, mid-wicket, and the backward square on the boundary. And that ball is played to the short mid-on position. And he doesn't score. Bramble is kept on 10, 150 for 4. We're in over number 51 of the Jaguars' second innings, needing 162 to win. They're 12 away. Imran Khan comes up, bowls. That's outside the off stump. He's back, punches it down towards cover point. The fielder comes across his right to pick up. He gets a single. One more to Bramble. He's gone up to 11, 151 for the loss of 4. So 11 needed now to win this match. Imran Khan continuing from the commentary box in the northern end of the ground, the media center end of the ground. John Ramsing is getting closer and closer to a victory for the Jaguars and to ensure that they stay in front with 5 titles under their belt and giving the other teams a lot to worry about for the next season coming up later in the year, November, December time. Forward comes Chandrapal. Plays into the offside, no run. He's kept on 40, 151 for 4. The Jaguars are going to do it again.
Cut your bread, Pastor.
Yeah, for the 5th time. You've
rattled out so many things there, but I understand you're excited.
Yes, I think everyone is excited watching the game from a Guyana standpoint. That's a little under edge from the bat onto the pad. A little stifled appeal from Khan. He's kept on 40, 151 for the loss of 4. But certainly, John, it will be a wonderful way to end the season in your own backyard, winning the 5th title in succession under Leon Johnson's captaincy with a national award on his belt. Here was a ball on the leg stump turned away by Chandrapal towards backward square for 1. He's 41, 152 for the loss of 4. 10 now needed, John Ramsing.
Yes, and Chandrapal, he has been there from the start of this innings, and he is very confident of remaining there towards the end of this innings, this run chase, this tournament as well, and also there for the crowning. He is the rock, really, that allowed the other batsmen to bat around him, and I'm happy that he's ending the tournament with this sort of innings, bringing it home for the Guyana Jaguars. And had it not been for that 100-odd partnership with Captain Leon Johnson, it could have been a different game. And that man, young Chandrapal, we must look at his runs and his efforts batting with every batsman so far as very valuable.
On Ramden's captaincy might have been a bit different as well. Had he struck early and picked up 2 or 3 quick wickets, maybe you would have had a Sinclair coming back and Odin Smith. Here is Charles comes up, he's in, bowls to Chandrapal on the leg stump, plays down towards mid-on. Imran Khan is out there and there is no run. So 10 needed now. He's 41, 11 to Bramble. And the batsman out, Hemraj, went for a duck, Singh 5. That was last evening. This afternoon, Johnson, a well-placed 76 and Barnwell 12. Here is a ball that's driven down to mid-off. And he can't score. He's kept in 41. 10 needed now. The sun is out in all its glory at Providence. And you've got a few spectators. Not a bad turnout at all to watch this victory as Chandrapal is walking into onside drive down to mid-on, picked up by Imran Khan, and there is no run. Slip, there's a silly point, backward point, cover deep, extra cover, mid-off, mid-on, mid-wicket, and a long leg for you. Here is Brian Charles, comes up, he's in, bowls to Chandrapal, he pads up, allows the ball to go through to be taken by wicketkeeper Dinesh Ramden, and there is no run. 10 needed, John Ramsing. So everyone listen across Guyana and the Eastern Caribbean. Well, in Guyana, they would be very proud. In Trinidad and Tobago, not that proud. Listening, that's outside the off stump, the Twin Island Republic, taken by Ramden, and again, no chance of a run.
Very well played by the Ghana Jaguars. I was just looking at some interesting piece of information, Matthew, and I'll share it with you after this delivery.
Here is Charles, right hand round the wicket, comes up, he's in bowls on the off stump to Chandrapal, who's forward defensive, pushes it down to extra cover, no run, the over comes to an end. John, you can share those stats or information that you want to give to everyone around the world. 152 for the loss of 4.
Just 10 to get. Over the years, the Ghana Jaguars, they've started their campaign in the Regional 4-Day tournament at home. This season, they've started away. Their first game was against the Volcanoes in St. Lucia. And before that, before this season, the Volcanoes actually tied a game here at Providence. So the Volcanoes would have given them some headache. But they won that game quite easily in St. Lucia. The next game, they were against the Leeward Islands Hurricanes, a team that have given them trouble over the years. They won that game quite easily. Then they had to go to Bridgetown to take on the Barbados Pride. The Pride has been a team that has been finishing a very close second year after year. So the 3 games away that the Jaguars started, difficult, but they won those. Came back to Providence against the Volcanoes, and they won that one as well. So they started in very strange circumstances on the road, but they won those 3. And then to win at home at Providence, that really helped them in this year's campaign to be once again crowned.
Interesting information. Here is Khan comes up. Oh, that swung in the air, and no one is going to take a catch. That dropped in no man's land, actually, even though you've got fielders inside what you would call an imaginary 30-yard circle. A little bit of a false shot there from Bramble looking to swing, hitting across the line, 152 for 4.
It was hit straight into the body of the fielder at forward short leg. That's Joshua De Silva. And he's actually shaking off some of that blow that he got struck on his left hand, it seemed. And Bramble, who realized how hard he hit it, went to the young man immediately to check to see that he's okay. Well, he's up. Strongly built young man.
Yes.
But
20-year-old in his first season for the Red Force. Can bowls, he's swinging that. Where is that gone? That's in the air. It's going to drop between 2 fielders, actually, heading out towards the mid-wicket boundary. They come back for 2. Anthony Bramble wants to finish this in a flash, knowing that it's just 10 runs to get. He's gone up to 13, 154 for 4.
yes, the ball was there to hit, really, but he got it a bit high. He got it a bit high on the bat, and also a little extra bounce from Imran Khan. So the ball went high into the air. The fielder was at mid-wicket, halfway to the boundary. He's now being pushed back, right back on the boundary. He could not run back in time.
Here is a ball that he's defending, coming down the track, checks the shot, plays back to Khan, no run. So 8 needed. The magic figure in the next minute or 2, or let's say about 3-4 minutes. That 8 runs can be achieved. There is Khan, comes up, he's in bowls to Bramble off the back foot, cracking shot down through cover, runs there for the wicketkeeper batsman 1, and that's all there'll be. Is good bit of work from the fielder down at cover, covering ground to his right, 155 for the loss of 4 now. So 7 needed as Imran Khan walks back to his mark, off the back foot and just cracked it out through cover. And Bramble wants to finish it very quickly. Chandrapal, who's been there, comes in to strike. He's 41 now. And you can just see the crowd in anticipation of a victory in the green stand. As Khan comes up, he's in bowls to Chandrapal. He's forward, opens the face, takes a quick single. The return comes in at the bowler's end. Hits the stumps. They're going to look for a second. They're going to get it as the ball ricochets down towards the mid-on area. And they get 2. So they get that extra run. Those runs go to Chandrapal. He's 43, 157 for the loss of 4.
Yes, looking to wrap it up very quickly, Ghana Jaguars. Actually, that ball was played just forward of, just to backward point, really. And Bramble, recognizing the quick single, he called through Chandrapal, and the fielder had a throw in on strikers at the run of Chandrapal, and the ricochet allowed them to get the extra run.
Here is Chandrapal, gets a leg break that turns into him. He was looking to cut it. Missed the shot taken by Bramble, and the over comes to an end, and it's 4 p.m. here. We're going to have the break. Are we going to take the break? Well, we're watching to see what's going to happen. 157 for 4. I think Clyde Butts made the comment that if you've got 5 runs, well, he didn't say 5 runs, but if you only have a couple of runs to get, and you get up to the break time, is it permitted to play on? Well, it seems as if that will be the case. They're going to play on because it's 5 runs to get. And nothing is wrong with that, John. But I think I'm going to have to check my my law book to see what happens there, if that is permitted. But the fact that they're playing on says it obviously is permitted in the playing conditions, I guess.
It's a gentleman's game still, Matthew, so I think they've worked it out amicably.
Charles down to Bramble. Bramble is swinging that in the air. That's gone down to one bounce to the long on fielder. He doesn't go for the run.
Bramble sent back Chanderpaul. He did not take the single on that occasion. Bramble wants to do it on his own.
157 for 4. Here is Charles, comes up, balls to Bramble. Bramble is on the back foot, works it away towards short backward square. No run. He's kept on 14. 43 is Chanderpaul. 157 for 4. So 5 needed now. We're in over number 54. 7 extras on the board. Let's watch. Charles comes up, balls to Bramble. Bramble sweeps down towards backward square. The fielder, he does well. That's Odin Smith. And again, Bramble is kept on 14. And sometimes a little bit of cat and mouse game going on out here. If Bramble goes a big shot and gets out, well, then you'll hear all sorts of discussions around the country. Down the track, lifts that high and hard. Will that be victory? It is! The Guyana Jaguars have won a 5th consecutive title, and the man to bring them home, John Ramsing, is a man who's led from in front with the bat in hand. Anthony Bramble, the wicketkeeper batsman. Leon Johnson will be an extremely proud captain. 5 titles under his belt. The Jaguars have done it at home, and what a fantastic way to end this season with a 5th title under their belt. The Jaguars winning here by 6 wickets.
And the leading run scorer, Anthony Bramble, bringing up that 6-wicket victory in fine style, hitting the bowler back over his head. Loved this shot, and we can understand why he denied Chanderpaul that single. Well, why he did not take that single when Chanderpaul was coming down to him. And Brian Charles there pitching right up in the slot, and Bramble going over the top to finish the game in fine style. Lots of hand claps going on around in the green stand, and the Guyana Jaguars camp a happy one indeed as they come out to embrace the Trinidad and Tobago Red Force at the end of the match. That is now customary. And this game is finished on day number 3, as if it is a day game towards the end of the day's play, but it's the end of the first session only on day number 3. And what a deserved victory for the Guyana Jaguars. They've worked very hard this season. Probably the hardest they've had to work in all 5 seasons. They got 7 victories, 3 defeats, no game ending in a draw nor a tie this season. So they've done very well, and congratulations to them all. Bramble, the leading batsman this season, where Sammy Pramod once again with 42 wickets. The leading bowler, Shepherd, most by far. They're outstanding all around. He's done very well with the ball and with the bat. We must also give credit where it's due. Chanderpaul, he played his part very well. Captain Leon Johnson saved his best for last. And Barnwell, he had some magnificent bowling spells. Against Jamaica and the Windwards, he had some. One of those games, he had a good half century as well. So he has played his part. Raymond Reefer continues to be one of the best, if not the best, player, really, all-round player for the Guyana Jaguars. So they have done very well all round. So that's really good to see that the Guyana Jaguars continue to win titles. Congratulations to them once more. And Leon Johnson, the captain now, is going to take a souvenir, taking the stumps out of the ground. And with him is Raymond Reefer. They deserve it all. Then the leading all-rounder in Shepherd collecting a souvenir as well. They deserve it. They had a change of guard when their head coach left to go to international duties. He's on Crandon, and Chanderpaul was ascended to the coaching staff as assistant coach, and Rayon Griffith taking up the duty as head coach. All that they had to be contented with this season, but they've done well to come out on top again. Congratulations.
Indeed, congratulations to the Guyana Jaguars. They've done it for a 5th consecutive year, and under the captaincy of Leon Johnson, who's marshaled his forces well. Especially in this season, John, knowing that they would have lost 3 matches. They would have lost to the Leewards first, then they lost to Trinidad, and they lost to Jamaica. And that loss to Jamaica inside 2 days really made many felt disappointed in the way they surrendered that match at Sabina Park inside 2 days to the Scorpions, but coming back home and really performing well. The Jaguars have done well. And when you look at what has transpired in this season so far, I think the Jaguars have come to realize that other teams are going to pick up the tempo in terms of watching the way they play and wanting to beat them, because Trinidad beat them at Queen's Park Oval. The Scorpions beat them. The Leewards beat them again. They would have beaten them up, I think, twice before. And now with an increase of defeats, and even though they've won the title, they would want to come back well in the next season, which will start at the end of this year, and coming into the 2020, they would want to up their game a bit more in order to continue impressing and showing that they're the leading side in the region in this regional 4-day tournament. And even as we speak with you, the players are gonna go across to the green stand and really, say to them that we're here, we've done it for you again, and we want you to know that we're proud of you in terms of coming out to support us as well. They're going to do maybe a lap around the stadium, but led by Leon Johnson, John Ramsing, they have done very well. The Jaguars winning here by 6 wickets on day 3, and winning the title 154.2 points to end the season. The Leewards, if they win their game, they will get up to 131.4 with a match remaining. And we've been saying that in the final analysis, if they have to get 23 points to go past the Jaguars in their final game. That looks hardly likely, John. And so we can draw our conclusions by saying that the Jaguars are champions for a 5th consecutive year. The crowd has come down to the railing to greet the Jaguars and to congratulate them.
It's good to see that they're reaching the fans. The fans were here throughout, and even when they had some anxious moments, the fans stuck with them. So the Guyana Jaguars players getting closer to their fans, and that's a very good sign from them. Even Norman, the juice man, who has been shouting all sorts of advice and all sorts of criticisms as well, he's part of that procession. It looks very good to see that the Jaguars, led by head coach Rayon Griffith and assistant coach Chanda Paul as well, that's Shivnarayan Chanda Paul, part of that as well. They deserve it. Very well done.
We can't forget the fat lady as well. Is she in the green stand? Did you see her?
She's right there.
Right, so I'll quickly wrap up for you. The game has come to an end. The Jaguars have won here at Providence. Let's go through quickly the scorecard for the Jaguars in their second innings. Hemraj needing 162 to win. Hemraj bowled by Philip Furdock. Singh caught at backward point off the ball of Sinclair for 5. Close of play yesterday, 69 for 2. They were still 93 runs behind to win the game. And then today, Johnson leg before wicket to the bowling of Charles for 76. Ending a 111 third wicket run partnership between himself and Tej Chandrapal. It was 123 for 3 in the 42nd over. And Barnwell caught Anderson Phillip at long on a magnificent catch, running hard to his right off the bowling of Imran Khan for 12, 136 for 4. Chandrapal not out 43. Bramble ending the match with a 6 over the long on area. He was unbeaten on 20, I believe. With 6 extras, 163 for the loss of 4. 7 extras, in fact, 163 for the loss of 4, winning by 6 wickets at 4:03 p.m. in the afternoon. 154.2 points. They would have ended the season on and winning the title for a 5th consecutive year. The bowling figures for you: Anderson Phillip, 12 overs, 3 maidens, 1 for 21. Daniel Sinclair, 5 overs, 1 maiden, 1 for 21. Odin Smith, who didn't have a bowl today, 4 overs, 1 maiden, none for 13. Brian Charles, 20.4 overs, 8 maidens, 1 for 51. Imran Khan, 5 overs, no maiden, 1 for 23. And Tion Webster, 7 overs, no maiden, none for 30. So, final scores in the match. The Trinidad and Tobago Red Force, they won the toss. They elected to bat 120 all out. Guyana, in their first innings, they made 165 all out. And then batting a second time, the Red Force got up to 206 all out in 75.2 overs, giving the Jaguars 162 to win. And at the end, 163 for the loss of 4, winning by 6 wickets and picking up the championship title for a 5th consecutive year. Well, John, it's been a wonderful match, and it's been a good season of cricket in the region, with still one run left for a couple of teams. The Jaguars certainly have got a lot to be proud about.
A difficult season, but they came out on top. And once you work hard for it, you'll cherish it even more. And definitely lots to celebrate for the Guyana Jaguars. But from the commentary box standpoint, Matthew, we have to say thank you so very much to our ardent listeners as well, who have stuck with us over the season, right here in Guyana and abroad. And we must be able to say thank you so very much to all of them for sticking with us. Also, we must say thank you very much to Regal Stationery and Computer Center. They have given us a wonderful opportunity of warm beverages in the commentary box.
Right, so we're going to wrap it up here from Providence at what? Just about 11 minutes after the 4 o'clock hour on day 3. The match has come to an end. The Jaguars have won in convincing fashion by 6 wickets. And congratulations to the Jaguars. Congratulations as well to Cricket 360 International on behalf of CWI for ensuring that commentaries were brought throughout the world in the regional tournament. On behalf of a wonderful commentary team made up of Inderjeet Prasad, the man from Maikoni, Clyde Butts as well, who hails from Maikoni, John Ramsing, who hails from all over the world, and Matthew Kisoon. Let's say goodbye from Providence, and it's time for the Guyana Jaguars and all around Guyana and Guyanese around the world to celebrate the Guyana Jaguars' 5th consecutive regional 4-day tournament title. It's goodbye from Providence.